This is Gamer 1745, and I hope we're going live here on the interwebs. I am going to be playing some War Thunder and hopefully soon joined by some friends. This is a cool little tank. Well, it's not that little actually, but says it's excellent. Okay, and let's right. So let's go and play a mission with this. Now, the little tank. Well, this was a main battle tank at the start of World War II, the Panzer III. It goes through various developments. And we are in the modern city of North Holland. And Elizabeth is already here. Hello, how you doing? Okay, let's see. So, the Panzer III. For the pre-automated age, it develops, and we very closely, the Panzer IV is being developed at the same time. The Panzer IV is not developed as a follow-on to the Panzer III, but as a support tank. So it is, generally speaking, simultaneously developed with the Panzer II. So, but this tank gets the idea that the best, stop some artillery back here, that the best manning is a 3-man turret. I would still say that's the best today. I know autoloaders exist, and there is controversy of whether autoloaders... there's somebody up there. I missed you. I didn't miss the second time. It's over. It does have a fairly wicked drop. Somehow that bounced. There we go, critical hit. Somebody else got it. Oh, somebody got me from probably up high, or maybe down here. Let's put a round down that path, and there's somebody down. You don't see them. Mostly just firing blind into the... Did it die? Is it still... It's dead. So, and so yes, if autoloader, possibly unmanned turret, is now the weapons du jour for tanks, possibly. I'm not saying I agree with that. I agree that that might be the way to go. Yeah, got that from up there, it seems like. Often I'm out there, but with this little tank I decided to come straight in, or fairly straight in. Ah, hello. Were you coming to help me? Ah, looks like you were. Thank you. So I don't know how much good you're doing, and that smoke isn't necessarily helping. Can't see anything now. Ah, I just saw your tracers coming at me. Muzzle blast. So, so yes, 3-man turret is still quite possibly the best, but definitely the best in the sort of pre-automated age. Now, also in the pre-automated age, radios weren't, something that automated, so that you have a Hello. A radio operator. Bow machine gunners. Were thought to be a much more important thing than they turned out to be. Then somehow. And a big Sherman showed up here. Lovely. Ah. Well, I got saved. And so, hello, Zach Hall. How you doing? We'll check out your. Let's get an extra crew member here. And thanks again. Yeah, I know he's out there. Let me drop artillery back. Oh, I don't. I'm here. Somebody got you. Really got you. Yeah. Sorry, dude. You did help me out twice. Oh, we got tracks to need repairing. I think that was a bomb outside that got cracked. And so yes, they got it right for the crew size development. The reason I can say that readily is, let me go through. Oh, okay, you're big. You didn't want me to go through. I've got armor. I mean, compared for this VR, I've got armor. You really don't much. You just are a clown car environment. Lots of space and people. Oh, hello. Here we go. And so this set this. Oh, and the reason I can say they got it right is just about everybody else, just about whenever they can, they do a 5-man crew. Now, like late war British Sherman, I'm blanking on the colloquial name for it. You know, it has such large ammunition that where the bow gunner is removed and they put ammunition there. It's big and long and whatnot. So, yeah, whenever they can, they do this. So they get it right. Now, it starts out with a 37mm gun. It's designed to be able to have a 50mm gun. You know, is in space, turret ring size, that kind of thing. But there's no real 50mm gun ready for production at that time. It's being developed, so it comes with a 37mm, which for tank penetration, okay, not good enough for that Matilda that we just were next to, really, but much of the other contemporary tanks, and we'll get to those in a moment. The French stuff. Yeah, the contemporary tanks, it's penetrating them. Now, so it's developed with that. Now, it does get first a, shall we say, medium pressure, medium length, 50mm gun, and then a longer one, finally, as it's intended to. Now, that might have been the end of the Panzer III, but the Germans figure out the Monroe effect eventually. That's the hollow charged tank rounds, which is what we're shooting here now as opposed to the early ones. So they get it up to where it has an effective anti-tank ability. So they do a last sort of production run as Panzer IIIs. A bunch of those are used as support vehicles alongside the first Tigers deployed to North Africa. They're a little more maneuverable in the environments where the Tiger, you know, is big and heavy, and you know, getting places that the Tiger might not. it's designed to not so much support as in being anti-tank, but hey, this thing has a battle machine gun, a coaxial machine gun, a 75 millimeter high explosive round, as well as the heat round. We need to repair our engine now that we're some sort of cover. So it's good for shooting at infantry and whatnot alongside tigers. And the tiger is sort of ruling the battlefield, is almost invulnerable and almost destroys just about everything that it sees. Oh. There. You are shooting at somebody else. Let's move up. Get to cover. Get to cover. So it gets a production run of that. And that would sort of be the end of the Panzer III, except it gets another lease on life up until the end of the war as the Stug 3. Now the Stug 3 is also developed not alongside early on, but it's very limited numbers for the Battle of France. I mean, just a handful of vehicles. And that's sort of, I don't know that he really has much actual design input, but he definitely has, you know, what it should do kind of input, from what I understand, is Guderian. He wants a sort of like a support tank of a Panzer IV, but a Panzer IV, when it's developed, is not set up with any heavier armor than a Panzer III. But the Stug 3 is low profile, doesn't have a turret, meant for bashing or, you know, assaulting something like the Maginot Line, you know, the bunkers there. And so it's good, and it starts out with a short-barreled L-24 gun, same as the Panzer IV. It gets longer, and then even a little bit longer 75 millimeter guns, the L-43 and the L-48 gun mounted into it. And so those are produced, the Stug 3, up until the end of the war. So that's keeping this vehicle operational in the Stug form and in production from the beginning of the war through to the end of the war. And Zach Call asks, what's your favorite French tank of World War II? Elizabeth said the R-35 and the AMC-35 are both pretty cool. Okay. Favorite. In a way, I'm going to have to say the R-35. Not that I think it's the best. God, no. Not the best French tank of the war, that's for sure. But favorite and best are two different things. The R-35 is the ultimate for the technology of that day, but the ultimate conclusion of the Renault, because notice R stands for Renault. There's also an H-35 for Hotchkiss, slightly different. You know, well, same basic concept. Nothing is like parts compatible, so it's a different vehicle, but same basic concept. Is the FT-17. It has both the same 37 millimeter gun, and I say the same is that there was overproduction runs of 37 millimeter guns at the end of World War II that go into storage that literally are what is used to put into the R-35. And yeah, it's and a coaxial machine gun, different than the Hotchkiss machine gun of the uh, FT-17, but still a proper machine gun. So that it has, instead of one or the other, it has both a machine gun and a 37 light 37 millimeter gun on it. It has reasonably good armor for 1940. It has a weakish engine because it's meant to move as a support vehicle to infantry. It is two-man vehicle. Some of the commentators say that that was preferred for the French for budgetary reasons, only having to pay for two crews instead of more crew. I have a problem with that because France's army was a conscription army, and I'm not saying they didn't pay their conscripts money, but they did pay, but they did conscript people, and they had lots of infantrymen, and so going from doing a 3-man tank instead of a 2-man tank, I don't see, or even a 4-man tank, twice the budgetary costs of manning the tank. Notice I said manning the tank. Um, and how many they made of them. Reducing the infantry, shall we say, of, let's just for the sake of our argument say that there's 500 R-35s and H-35s and whatnot. Okay, that's just 2,000 more people. Come on. You can reduce the army by either taking 2 men out of each battalion, or you can take remove 2 battalions of your army from somewhere and pay for those guys to be in the tanks. Now it might be that the tank crew members were more careerists, meaning longer term serving than just the 18 months or whatever a conscript would serve in peacetime. But I don't know about that. That's just speculation on my part. I think it's more. I think where budgetary reasons come in, as well as production capabilities with some of the factories come in, is the amount of resources, steel, whatnot, that it takes to build a tank that would encompass more people. We can't easily compare sizes here, but we can. Um, see, H-35 as it drives in there. And now this is the R-35 with the longer 37 millimeter gun, but otherwise the same vehicle. So I think the budget is more on production than manning, because I say manning is I don't know if they didn't have more men sitting back in a truck somewhere that would do maintenance, keeping this automotive vehicle running. That's one of the elements. Now maybe they just hardly ran their tanks, and so had light amount of wear and tear. The Soviet Union, for most of its, or a good chunk of its history, post World War II history, I'm talking here, this is what I know about. Most of the tank units I'm talking about here, tank units, they would have, let's say, like a platoon. I don't remember what size the tanks that were, number of tanks that were in a platoon. They would have like a platoon of tanks that everybody would drive and just rotate through that way, so that, for like a battalion, not just a company, but for like a battalion. And so all the crews would drive that small set of tanks and repair and maintain those small set of tanks. all the rest of the tanks would be warehoused, sitting ready to go, putting 0 road miles on them. And so they would keep them trained. It was, I think, sort of the Moscow district or some of those units, as well as the Soviet forces stationed in East Germany. They would train as units with all of their tanks. But the rest of them, it was, from the lectures I got because of certain things way in the past, by at least Western experts, including one guy who wrote books, informed me of this, which may be wrong, but and so that they would only just wear out a few of the tanks to then eventually be replaced, and the rest would just be made and warehoused, but warehoused sort of ready to go. And presumably everybody now knows how to drive and operate a tank, and at least operate as a coordinated platoon. The big show goes up. So maybe the French weren't operating their tanks a whole lot in peacetime, so they didn't need a lot of mechanics and people changing out road wheels and greasing up the tank and doing all that kind of stuff on it. Hello, HFS. So yeah, the front. So I don't know, but I also get the concept of a 2-man tank in that you're only putting 2 people in this coffin, this potential coffin, shall we say? And the biggest difference between this, I don't know if it's shown on here. I'm guessing maybe not. Yes. The biggest difference between this and like an R-35, in my opinion, is this thing right here, the radio. The R-35s did not have one as standard. The French did not have radios in all of their vehicles. So this moving around the battlefield, or we have one of because this is the original gun. Moving around the battlefield, these guys don't know what the hell's going on around them unless they can look out and see something. So, like, what are the other tanks in their unit doing? What do they don't get any information unless they can see it with their eyes. So that is a major difference here. Okay. Let's see. Yes, the Germans really knew how to make tanks in World War II. Absolutely. Elizabeth saying, I will hopefully be seeing a Stug on vacation this November in the Patriotic Park. Well, cool. That sounds like fun. I believe the French tanks were rather small too, making the crew size minimal. Well, I think that they're designed after the French army in 1940 is designed to fight 1920 World War I, meaning everything, and I know you asked me about the Char B, everything here is set up to be the best army in World War I, and how to perfect, not make the next evolutionary steps in better concepts, but how to perfect the current concept, shall we say, as opposed to more men in the tank. Well, yes, they have more men in the tank. Here's the Sauma, which is actually a reasonably decent machine, but again, it's now here they do have radios. They have space for it. They've designed it. I think the Germans still have to put in a bunch of radios into Saumas they capture, because I don't know if it's like a conceptual thing or just they didn't have enough. I think some of the Saumas that are being issued or whatever at the being rushed to the units during, late 1939, early 1940, just didn't come with radios, meaning they hadn't been installed. Not that they wouldn't necessarily eventually, in theory be installed, but they just weren't. So you at least, somebody can say, the machine gunner slash radio operator here, this guy here to go, hey, we're being shot at from somewhere, whether with a machine gun fire or anti-tank rifle or anti-tank gun, but presumably not being penetrated. And this guy could then radio that to the other tanks in his unit so that they know that, oh, up on that hill or over near that barn or whatever, there's an enemy target for the other tanks to sort of, be able to react and deal with at the time. Curious fact. This, well, maybe, yeah. No, this, looking at this, yeah, this is not a hatch. This is a sort of a vision block. And if it is, I think, like, oh, no, this is also not a hatch. Or, no, come on. This is not a hatch. It's a vision block thing that you stick your helmet up into that sort of interacts with a harness thing there, and you rotate it around to look out. The hatch is back here or back here to get in and out. Now, you mentioned the Char B. Let's see, can we find the Char B here? Yeah, Char B 1 bis. Here we go. Again, a World War I tank design concept. And one, in my opinion, very clear element of it. And it's designed to be this way and not just ungainly or couldn't we design a better vehicle? It has this really high sides here. Well, and flat and whatnot. But this is designed to do two things. One is the center line of this sprocket here is as high of an obstacle that this can cross over, okay? So you look at a German vehicle, it's way down here. These are all at the same scale. Way down here. And our French tank is way up here. Now, just like, however many inches or centimeters, but it's higher, so it can go across that. And it's also, if you look at this, rather long. Again, going here, this is going to be shorter. And so what this is designed to do is to go across a World War I battlefield that has two things on it. One, heavy trench works, like you expect to see in World War I. And two, quite possibly, a very pockmarked battlefield because of lots of shell holes. So it's designed to go across terrain like that and not get hung up where the, this is designed to be maneuverable. It's not designed to cross, or, it's designed to drive down in the shell hole and drive out of the shell hole instead of just being big enough to sort of have because, shell holes sometimes were massive, but sometimes they were just, a bit of a distance here, and this would just drive across it. Now, also, as we can see inside here, he is put in here as almost sort of an extra person. You have, again, the whole idea that the gunner is also the loader. This fourth guy who's sort of crammed inside this vehicle might be able to pass and probably would, pass ammunition that's stored on the floor up to the ready rack for this guy, or pass ammunition to this guy here and maybe help load it. But depending on how much you can move around, how how well would you get there to actually put the round in, with this guy standing in the way. Um, so he probably is not actually, loading the round in the chamber, but passing it up to the gunner. So as for rapid, shoot, load, shoot, load, shoot, load, you're not going to do very well. Now it has a very big engine because this is heavy. We can see about the armor protection here, 55 millimeters. And if we come to Germany, let's drop down a BR here, where we can find, let's drop all the way down to here to find a competitive, well, we can do the Panzer II-C. Here we have 30 millimeters and 30 millimeters at its height, and 15 millimeters, and this is the the Panzer IV that's being used in 1940 against France. So we're seeing these big slab sides are thicker than the thickest part of a Panzer IV or Panzer I, and then we're going all the way up to 60 millimeters here in the front, and 56, which is virtually the same, but with lots of angles up here on the turret. So it's very well armored. So with all of that, and still to be able to move it, you need a big engine, these engines of those days. So yeah, this to a point of this whole little talk that Zach sort of got me into is a defense of the French tanks, but it's also showing their glaring antiquatedness of tanks, and they're not just, it's not just, how do I put this? It's not just they didn't have better technology. They're actually designing, treads that are more set up to go through mud, and I think this tread situation here will deal with mud that you're going to find on the battlefield better than this tread situation, that's churned up. Because I've seen these things in photos or period, short film clips, just caked full of mud, like on the Russian front in the Rasputina. Well, for at least short distances, as these were made to operate, this is probably going to do better in shedding the mud. Not that it's necessarily going to grip the mud better, but it's going to shed and go through with this sort of closed system. It looks like it will, but I don't know in practice because I haven't really done a deep dive on this vehicle. And so yeah, it's and you're still riveting the armor together, yeah, but they're mostly still flat pieces of metal. They do know how to cast steel here for the turret. But yeah, it's not technologically, antiquated. This thing here that never sees combat. And I'm going to test drive this just because I want to show you something. You see these things are spinning here, up on top. You can see right there and on the back. Those are spinning. And what you can do is, I don't know if you've seen it, if you stick your head up in there, the way that they're spinning, it's sort of like an old, very early film flicker thing that you're going around, and by it spinning it, you don't. It's going so fast that your eyes are just seeing through it, but it's not. It's very very small gaps, and it's very difficult to shoot between it. Now they were still around. They were being photographed and used for propaganda purposes early on in the in World War II starts, but they're not operated in combat. The unit is, I think, on railways when it gets attacked by the air or something like that. The Germans capture these behemoths, mostly intact. And this really is a 1920s vehicle that still hung around as some sort of weird monstrosity. And this sort of takes everything I was just saying and turn, that land battleship idea, that it's so big, but it's also, let's see, this, I think I need to, patience. Isn't it? I know I haven't even used this up because it's just such a horrid. I think to have the. This is just not going to show or something. Looking for the side machine guns. I thought it was something I could turn on and off. Maybe that is a different vehicle I'm thinking of. Like I can uninstall that. I don't uninstall. I don't. Okay. Well, because I'm not seeing. Well, you can sort of see them here. It should have, machine guns here and here. You can sort of see when we remove there and there. Hey, Jan. I'm sort of giving a lecture. If you want to join us for the next battle, I'm at 3-0 Germany for actually playing.
Okay. Yeah.
8
viewers. Wow.
Yeah, not just on one.
You're
service,
growing.
Yeah, one service, but yeah, because I'm on Twitch, YouTube, and Rumble. But yeah, so yeah, this is just again, part of the reason it is so long is it has the big engines in it, but it's also, you can see here that they're extending the length because that's what that is for. That is so that if there's
you're talking about the Shorty.
Yeah, if it's going across the trench and the back of it falls down in, it's supposed to hit that skid pad. And again, you can see the center line of this wheel is very high to getting over obstacles or sort of semi falling down into like an anti-tank ditch or big shell hole and climbing out. So they want the length. They want, now this is down at 22 millimeters of armor because again, it's a 1920s tank.
Invite me, gamer.
I will.
Okay.
Um,
but if
yeah.
Just a bit of a game recommendation then. If you, well, I know that you like talking about tanks. It is called Arms Trade Tycoon Tanks. I don't know if you know it.
I know of it. I haven't played it or really looked at it, but I think I've heard. At least it's what I think it is. If it's
It
what I think it is,
isn't. It is. Yeah. It's.
Yeah, but yeah.
It
So
is. It is like designing your own tank and such.
right, and so this again is the concepts of World War I, where you're also worried about people coming up behind you from the trenches or wherever else, so that you are, setting up, loader to that machine gun. These guys are just really more, calling that a machine gunner loader. These are really engine technicians. And to be able to have all this weight and move it around, you need big engines like that. So yeah, it's sort of what's going on here. Let's see, interesting concept. Hello, Kilton 120. How you doing? The stream is going well. We're just getting started here. Guderian commanding his panthers with an Enigma machine in the Battle of France is a pretty cool image. They understood the importance of communications in battle. Exactly. The Germans, just a second, Jan. The Germans, the French were really worried about the size of the German Air Force, as the war is getting started. Because Germany, of course, has so many airplanes. They really don't. But what is happening is, especially even once, and France had as many modern aircraft, as Germany had.
Really?
Oh, yes, in 1940. Oh, yes, France had as many. And we're talking modern aircraft, not just old hangers-on of whatever. Plus, you had the RAF, and then you had the very diminutive and very ineffective Belgian Air Force. So that Germany did not have that many more aircraft. What Germany had was communication that would coordinate all those aircraft into like one area, or not always into one area, but but into certain attacks at certain locations, and so they would be overwhelming there and then, and so it seemed like they had a lot. Where the French were, because they didn't have like not that they had radios in their aircraft, but they didn't have like networks.
Centralized command.
Well, centralized command, but networks of spotters that were spotting German air units that were making either radio or telephone communications into a central, like you see later as the British are developing this stuff, like the British have for the Battle of Britain. They don't have that developed to then be able to vector in aircraft to intercept. They're flying patrols around areas. And so those patrols, I don't know the size of them, but they're actually like flying around looking for enemy aircraft in this area and stay in the area. And then those get overwhelmed by however many German aircraft that come through. And so the French don't have good command and control. And that is very much the key to everything that's going on. Now that photo that you're referring to of Guderian with the Enigma machine, he had his half track, and that was one of the very few half tracks available to the German army in 1940. The armored ones. They had a bunch of the tractor ones. So the French had some of the worst tanks of World War II of any of the Allies. No. Well, okay, Allies. Well, we talked about the Belgian or the some of the really bad
South
tanks there.
Africa.
Well, South Africa really didn't have tanks of its own.
Yeah, but
in World War II. In World War II.
Well,
Hoffmanator, good to see you here live. Good to see you
here live. The funny Bob Sample tank.
Well, that's New Zealand.
Yes.
Yes. But, so now if you're talking other, the Polish, what they had their really little tank plus the 7TP. I'm forgetting the TKS or whatever. So the Polish
TK-20,
had that.
I thought.
Well, that's with a 20 millimeter. We can see. Let's. Oh, I don't know if we can really see here. I don't think there is a good one. But they have their own little thing. Now, of course, the Italians have their little tankettes. The Soviets have a bunch of bad tanks too, but we don't remember most of them because they're consumed very early on in the war. We can look back down here. Let's go to early. Well, maybe here. Oh, that's naval. Yeah. What they had. Well, this is sort of an up armored one. Let's see, I can probably just throw one of these quickly in my lineup. Yeah, let's just do this here. The Soviets had the T-26, but they also had this tank, and we can see the X-ray here, 2-man turret, one guy driving. But they also had this tank, which is not in this game because it's not meant to shoot at other tanks, was a dual turret, 2 machine gun. And they made lots of them. And so it's another tankette, and which I would, it's not the most terriblest tankette out there. We can look at Italy here. It's fun to use this as a thing here. Now, picture this thing. I know you see all the bushes on it, but picture this with just a very poor machine gun instead of this 20 millimeter, actually fairly decent 20 millimeter gun on it. But most of them were just a machine gun only version. So
in Gates of Hell, there's the BA2. That is like a BT2 chassis, I think, but only with 3 machine guns.
Right, and so
I think you're referring to that one.
No, I'm referring to the CV-33, this thing here, but it just had.
Oh, I meant for Russia.
Oh, stuff. For Russia. Well, no, they had a T-26 that was a two turret version that was just set up as a turreted 2 turret machine gun version. So that's an Italian Stug early on. So yeah, there are other stuff out there that is particularly bad. Now, if you want to go, yeah, and a lot of nations still had them in their inventory. At the time of the Battle of France, there's approximately 1,000, I think it's 900 something, but it's getting approximately 1,000 FT-17s in either, and sometimes they're called FT-18s. I don't know that that was really the designation. Sometimes the FT-17 has a machine gun in it, sometimes it has the 37 millimeter gun. But they had about 1,000 of them still in basically frontline service. Um, that were spread around generally at company strength, attached to just like infantry divisions instead of bunching them together into an armored or motorized division. So they still, and those are, either World War One or very, early 1920s production tanks that are still floating around. So if you want to go with, yeah, those things are still around. Now America had a bunch of those. They, I don't know, sell or give a bunch. I've seen, 40 or 50 of them up to Canada. Not that Canada was going to go then use them in the war. They were just going to use them for training purposes inside of Canada. So you still have a bunch of things like that running around in people's armories. So yeah, it's I always say France has perfected. Just sent you the invite, Jan. I think I did. Um,
Yep.
uh, the best army to fight World War One again. Unfortunately, they fought World War Two. See, if we're talking 1940, don't know. I think the British armor is very formidable. The British, yeah, it's it's very segregated between. Um, we can get and sort of see it down here at this stuff. Um, well, this in an actual tank turret is their light scouting vehicle, but it's meant to be scouting. This is their sort of their cavalry tank, in that, and here's another version of it, in that these are fast and quick designed, and then they have the Matilda, which is an infantry tank. It's designed to move along and support infantry, so it's slow and heavy, and they very much don't have a unified.
Tank doctrine.
Yeah, that's a very good way to put it. They don't have a unified tank doctrine. They have a doctrine for a tank that supports infantry, which is great because you have infantry and you want to support it. And then they have the idea of, hey, we're going to dash about like the cavalry, but still have now its armor is thin, but that's just par for the course for its day. In 30 millimeters versus basically that kind of armor for the Germans at the time. Dash around rapidly, still thinking in the old cavalry sense instead of like unified doctrine or combined arms. And then you have this. Now this is I wish they would add the actual tank version of this because it has a 50 cal machine gun on it along with one of these Bursa machine guns coaxially in a proper turret. And it's actually a pretty good scouting vehicle, but would be great for War Thunder because a 50 cal armed tank, as we can see, is at this BR 1.7 or whatever, still a damned effective, running around the battlefield and killing the enemy. So it would make a good, and it's really technically a tankette, but it's again conceptually designed as a scouting unit. And for a scouting unit, now this is a 2-man because of the way this is set up, but the real one is a 3-man. It has a driver, a gunner, and a commander. Since it's not meant to be a tank, it's not meant to fight other tanks. It's meant to see where the enemy is, and if, oh shit, they're shooting at me, I can shoot back while I run away. Yeah, this works out pretty well, and part of it is, well, you don't so much need a loader when you have machine guns, because machine guns shoot for a while, then you load the, new belt of ammo on it, so it's not like fire, load, fire, load, fire, load. But also, you're wanting to risk fewer people when you're looking around. Is this a trap? You don't want to put a large amount of people in there to risk, is this a trap? Get killed on. So fewer people is poor Belgian Air Force World War II, very true. Okay, well, let's get to playing some more. I had a very good first mission, but now we got Jan here.
But Dino wasn't able.
I don't know. I haven't heard from him, which is
Hmm.
fine. He doesn't have to be here, but he's awfully
Yeah.
nice to say if he isn't going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cyanide. And I'm going to start my nice little Panzer III. And what I really like about this is up close, the 50 millimeter gun has slightly more penetration power, but this loads very fast and very consistent penetration power, so I love it. It's almost like, for this game, almost a semi-auto load rate.
This is the first time I'm trying this thing out. So
Yeah. You just got to play it right. Do think it that isn't a tank really. It's a support.
I
vehicle.
know it's a half track. Yeah.
Yeah, but meaning it's not like really set up to be armored.
Yeah.
It's not just even that. Hey, it's a half track.
Is this a later designed version or initial?
Yeah. That's a late war half track. Armored half track, because they changed the design partway through the war for simplification purposes, and it's also a late war setup of a mounting of it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's sort of late war. And I think most, though I don't know if all, but I think most of those short 75s that they get are pulled from Panzer IVs and other tanks that are no longer.
Yeah, I kind of guessed as much.
Yeah, as opposed to keeping that in production late in the war.
Yeah, 75 K L24s.
Yeah, and it'll do good. It'll do good killing work here. You just gotta take account for the drop.
Yeah. Oh, that is a huge drop.
Yeah.
Ah.
You hit. You'll probably kill a lot of the stuff, but these definitely.
I'm not able to kill that. That is a 105 Sherman.
Oh no problem. You can get the 105 Sherman. We just did it.
Yeah, but I don't have the heat rounds, I think.
Oh, you don't have the heat rounds yet. Yeah.
No, this is like the basic.
Yeah. That would be a problem. Lack of heat rounds is a problem. So.
There's a T50 over there, and M22 moving over there.
Okay, did I see something? You see the dead thing? Okay. See the smoke. There it is. Oh, there's a.
Oh, the M22 seems to be there.
Let's see. This too little short. You can see. There we go.
Gobi. Missed. What a surprise. Oh no. Yeah.
Hiding behind a tank. Is he allowed to hide behind tank? Doesn't he have to come out and get shot by me? Oh, there's somebody up here. I see his 50. Let's see if I can pull off the roundup. Oh, I hit him. Critical hit him. Okay, took out his turret and his breach. Out where he is. No.
Why don't you use some French tanks since we were talking about them?
Have you noticed French tanks? They're not very good.
No, they're not very good.
I could, I guess.
Especially in this game, but it is kind of to do with how...
Yeah, it's because, we have to go really low BR to play them, and I don't think Jan has that.
I have some
French stuff, and
I do have some French stuff. I've been actually doing somewhat good with the M4 from the French tree.
Well, that's an American.
I know, but
it's just
I have been. There goes that one. But yeah, I've been around 3.7 on French.
Okay. That's something shot me over here. Okay, and something. That's just for the lulls, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, god damn it. He just
Okay.
moved behind the silo.
Let's see. We can now try the desert camouflage version of the Panzer III L.
Oh.
Okay, so now we got the long-barreled 50 millimeter. The British called it the Special when they first encountered them. Okay. Let's drop some
How
artillery
did
right.
that?
Hey.
Yeah. Excuse me. Oh man, that sucks. Oh, oh, bye.
Japanese tanks would be interesting. I know almost nothing about them. Yeah, now Japanese tanks are, you know, like all the vehicles, reflect a lot of. Oh, we got somebody with my artillery. Reflect the realities of their nation. One, they have very limited industrial capacity. Two, they're really set up to fight nations that don't, particularly China, that don't have tanks. And when they do fight a nation that has tanks early on, the Soviets, they get their butts kicked.
Yeah.
A Kalk and Gall is the general term for a series of battles. I mean, there may be technically one that's called Kalk and Gall, but I use that as a shorthand to
There are
talk
more
about.
border conflicts than.
Well, they're serious battles. Japan is really testing out the Soviets, but you're right in the sense that it is not a declared war by either side. You know, so it's they're battling each other. They're sort of just doing it because, you know, Japan wants to expand. Are the Soviets strong or weak or whatever? Oh, are these tanks allowed to move out of my line of sight? Now he sees me.
Especially for you? No.
Okay, I was hoping to. Hello. Critical hit. Got a few of you. Got the rest of you. Yes. Moving up, getting out of kill zone, and turning around. Oh, they're shooting at me from the other side now. Okay, well.
Come on.
And I died.
Oh, okay, good. I killed his gun. Okay.
Moving up there. Now this, just to be different, we're going to. Sorry, this is not a tank destroyer. Obviously not a tank too. Oh, they redid the model since I last put my stuff on it, so I got things floating around me. But this is an artillery piece. It's a 105 howitzer. It's designed to be used not like long-range indirect fire, but it is designed to use as infantry support. Let's see, oh, that was a little too high still. Hello. Oh, they got my. We're getting overrun. I see you way out.
Yeah.
Well, I hit you. No damage. Yeah. We got our butts kicked. More series of capture bases.
Yeah.
Let's go up to 3-7.
3-7? Okay.
Yeah. Now we're getting into the pinnacle of Panzer IV development as a tank. And there's Werewolf Man. How you doing?
Hey, Josh.
Want to join us, or are you just here to hang out?
I'm playing 7-7.
Ah, okay.
7-7, I see.
Yeah, we're down at 3-7.
Grinding the M48 and to the M60.
Right, yeah, cool.
Nice. I have to
Emmer, how far down the tech tree have you gone?
For what nation?
American.
American. Let's see. That let's see. I have the um IPM 1 improved model M1 at 11 BR11 as a grinded vehicle. I've got to there. I mean, I have some same basic level for some event vehicles, but yeah, I've gotten to 11, just 11.0. I don't play the Americans a whole lot, so I've only gotten to there.
Do you see what they added to the HSTVL?
No, not specifically.
They
Something
gave it
interesting.
proxy.
Approximate.
Oh.
The
Proximity rounds.
yeah, proximity rounds. That's what I was trying to say. Yes. Okay, that seems rather effective. But yeah.
Yeah, so now it can shoot down planes and other helicopters.
Hello, Kenneth Workman. How you doing out there? Okay, let's get back to 37. We'll play a bit of that.
Oh, so I didn't know the ADATS was literally just, it's a Bradley chassis with a fucking autocannon and missiles.
Yeah.
And then the XM 975 is a Paladin chassis. Huh.
I summon a paladin.
I don't do much aircraft. The most aircraft I have is American because I haven't too much recently, but I sort of like to play naval, and my preferred nation for naval is the American.
Oh, how's that naval grind going now?
I haven't been playing it in a while.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, it's been a few months since I've actually played. But, and I'm mostly playing arcade naval, so you get aircraft use experience in that. So, that's why I've grinded up as much of the year as I do, or as I have for the Americans. I just grew up, I know those that have hung around a lot know this, but I grew up playing Micro Arm, which is very small lead tanks. And I would have and I love playing that. I would have loved a game like this as a kid. So, tank warfare is just something that's close to my heart. There. Not that I don't like aircraft, it's just where I'm going to spend my time is in tanks. And I'd also say for most people, aircraft is a waste of time. Because, depending on the aircraft obviously, but you know, like a Stuka, you get one good bomb drop and then you got to go back and you know, get more ammo and whatnot. And even if you have more,
actually took an SNK
if you have more bombs, you can have more drops. But so many people are so bad that you'll burn up your respawn points, not earn as much as you would have if you were in a tank. Ah, shit. There's something over here that shot me. I see you over there. But unfortunately, my gunner is...
Yak 9 getting APHE, or AP...
Yeah, I hate it. I hate that. I hate that change. I don't understand, really.
I'm for anything that is historically based. It's just then it needs to be then BR adjusted if it's upping or downing their capabilities. So I'm not against it. It's just okay, but then you know, if it's that much more of an effective ground attack, now you need to make it up, you know, higher BRs. And they've stated, and they started supposedly at the upper BRs, and I don't know how far they've worked down, that they're readjusting aircraft differently for ground or combined battles versus you know, aircraft only. So, which for BRs, and which I think is a good idea.
Well, they did it for arcade and realistic, so.
You know, so I'm hoping. Well, but I don't know if they've done it all the way down the BR tree. They talk like they're starting near the top and working their way down slowly. So I don't know how far they've got. But yeah, there are good pilots out here that do play it. That it isn't a waste of time if they, you know, fly aircraft. But so many of the people are just so bad, and I'm one of the so bad people. So it's not like I'm trying to shame anyone and saying I'm better. No, I'm not. It's
Oh, come on! Oh, and I just got cast.
Yeah.
Thank you, gamer.
Yeah, I help too. But yeah, now the question is,
with Cass.
yeah.
Yes, you talk about casting, and then I get cast. Well, all the more reason to get in AA.
Oh.
You're playing 5-7.
No, we're
no,
playing
3-7.
3-7. I
I'm
know last
not
time I
able
came
to
out there
hit
and
him.
got. So this time I'm gonna come up here and sort of, instead of driving and giving him my side, trying to come through here. Let's spread some fence down. Let's look that way. If we spot it. So not them from taking it. We're gonna move up here. I see some tracks. Is that dead? Probably. But, oh, I hit the trailer. Oh, no. Okay. No, that's friendly. Oh, you're shooting at them. Okay. Someone can help with concept. Now that thing that I just shot at, really to be able to shoot the gun, you need two guys standing out behind the vehicle. That Italian tank destroyer was not meant to be shot on the move. Navy and War Thunder, but it's incredibly time consuming and probably boring to watch. Yeah, that's part of the reason it's actually, I would say it's fun to watch, or exciting to watch, if you're playing coastal forces, as they call it now. So
Yeah,
if you're,
torpedo boats.
Yeah, if you're doing torpedo boats and other fast stuff, you're zipping around pretty quick, and it's probably fun to watch. I mean, I say that because, you know, people may find things boring that I find fun, but there's a lot of fast action in it, at least. That I can say clearly. But just because whenever I do naval, most of the people leave, I don't stream naval, and it's only when I'm just playing for myself do I play naval nowadays. I really wish people would want to watch it more. Oh, hello. That's a nice big fat shrimp. Just blew up.
I do like the concept of it, but it's just.
Oh, it's another grind, and if you don't want to pay the
Yeah.
grind, you got to pay all the golden eagles to get there, and
No.
it's time consuming. You know, if you're going to grind, that's the point of grinding. You know, for the company, is they're trying to get you to make, you know, make money off of a free game. So I understand that. I don't disagree with the idea. I do pay for premium, which helps my grind go quicker. This is the final version of the Panzer IV, but it is actually a downgrade. Now this is supposedly a command version with extra radios. See all the antennas around it. But what they did do was to simplify manufacture. Was to get rid of the
Side skirts.
No, not side skirts. To get rid of the motor that moves the turret. So it's a hand crank turret. So it moves slower. That was the big
Gravitation.
One thing that
Okay.
they don't model in this game, the Panzer IV did have, I don't know if this version had it, but did have an auxiliary power unit, meaning another smaller engine. Oh, there's a tank right out there. We just shot it. But fortunately, I had enough armor, and I survived. So that it can... Oh, there's a... Oh, let's see if I can shoot at the side of the turret. Oh, critical hit. Good. Found a lot of your turret groups. You can move up and do it again. Well, I hit it. And got its radiator for whatever good effect that has in the game. And somebody else gets it. So, because if you lose your engine in this game, you start to run out of power. But in reality, they could just switch to their auxiliary power unit.
How long would that last?
Auxiliary power unit? As long as they had fuel. And it uses a lot less fuel than the tank does. You know, the main engine does. I think it sips off of your standard
Again,
fuel tanks.
cars! Ah! I'm not having a good time.
Well, you're not supposed to. This is War Thunder. It's supposed to be almost fun. I don't go in for watching sports much, Zach, so no, I don't watch American football.
You're gonna join us next time?
Oh yeah, they should be playing right now, shouldn't they?
I don't know, yeah. I don't pay attention. I don't hate watching it, but I just don't care enough to watch it. I actually sort of like some baseball movies, but just watching the sport. Yeah.
Oh,
Cool.
next Sunday is when they play. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I don't.
But are you gonna play?
No, he's grinding his M48 to get to the
Okay.
M60. That's what Josh was
If you
saying.
wanted to stop the grind.
The M48's fun.
Yeah.
I already have it. I'm just trying to grind for the M60.
Yeah, yeah.
It's nice when you have stabilized gun and stabilized system.
Does the M48
Yeah.
have a stabilized gun?
Somewhat.
Somewhat. Okay. I don't think the M60 did.
Versions of it did.
Okay. Yeah. I don't keep up on it. I remember that it was really pushed as a big deal, the stabilized gun of the Abrams when it was coming out.
Well, they do have the Churchill Mark II, I think, with the better stabilized gun.
Also,
Oh, the Churchill, the Churchill in this game, the reason
No,
it's
no,
stabilized...
no, no. Oh, no.
Oh.
Not the Churchill. It is in the British tree.
You're thinking Challenger?
Yeah, the Challenger, I think.
Yeah, Challenger had a
Challenger Mark
stabilized
II.
gun. I'm pretty... Yeah.
Yeah.
Had a stabilized gun and stuff. Well, but you go... A lot of the vehicles in the 70s did not have stabilized guns. Not saying zero did. I'm saying a lot didn't. See, I don't pay attention to their armor. Takes a lot to stabilize a gun, and the bigger the gun, the more it takes, more difficulty it is to, have servo motors and whatnot.
But
you have things like the XM800T, which
Yeah,
has
well,
a 20mm gun, but it's stabilized. And
Yeah,
then you
but
have
also
the
it's
M48.
X, meaning it's not a vehicle that was adopted, and it's not that hard to have a stabilized gun. It's hard to have a stabilized gun that's reliable enough for militaries to decide to adopt it.
Yeah, but the potential game you could.
Well, but if it breaks,
yeah,
you don't necessarily. Again, that would take another design situation to be able to unhook it from its stabilized unit and use it normally. So, if it's not reliable, you don't want a gun that locks into place every 20 hours of operation or something, and then needs to be hauled back to a repair station and figured out what's wrong and fixed it. So a gun that isn't stabilized, works.
I'm just saying I'd rather have a stabilized gun than a non-stabilized gun.
If it works, yes.
But why did they put it on the Sherman?
Well,
The Sherman wasn't fully stabilized. It was only semi-stabilized to a
Yes.
certain mile per hour.
Like 24 miles per hour.
Yeah, it's a semi-stabilized gun. But if you notice the higher velocity
76.
Yeah, 70. Well, thinking the Firefly or whatever, the British guns, they were not stabilized
powder, yeah?
because the guns were too heavy for the stabilization mounting. And so the technology is there, but the reliability of having to stabilize a heavier piece of equipment. Yeah, you could do that, but then how big is that stabilizer to fit in the tank, if you know what I mean? It just you're having to deal with all of that stuff. And as Josh was saying, it's semi-stabilized. You're almost still needing to come to a stop anyways. What is your likely engagements? So you just sort of go with the better gun.
Mm-hmm.
The Soviets, some of the reasons they have stabilized guns is because they have autoloaders in them. And the Soviets were much more willing to have less reliable equipment, because now again, some of my stuff that I get are from Cold War experts on the Soviet Union, which means they were still the enemy and we didn't have all the information, so it very well may be the truth may be different. But I was told that the Soviet autoloaders would often load the gunner into the breech of the gun instead of the round. So or a part of the gunner, to grab onto them and try to load it. So if you're willing to take that kind of losses, well, yeah, if you think 90% of the autoloaders are going to be functioning at any one time, and you're a Soviet commander, you go, great. We don't care. But U.S./NATO, that isn't an acceptable rate. Acceptable rate of operation. So it goes back to, which is sort of silly, but NATO at least had, and I think still has, a requirement for all man-portable weapons, for anti-tank weapons, hollow charge type weapons, to have a covered, concealed warhead, meaning they can't do an RPG-7 with having that big grenade thing out at the end of it that's exposed. At least that was a requirement. I don't know if it still is. And so you have, yes, you have the Carl Gustav, you have whether the American Dragon or the TOW. Now the Milan does sort of come along, but it sort of breaks that rule, sort of, because it is an exposed warhead. But they, so they do have these rules, which, maybe a bit arbitrary at times. But the West really does care about its soldiers, where the Soviets, it was all a percentage game. You know.
Well, because they had, first of all, a larger army, and second of all, their development base wasn't as good.
No, I think it's just ideological. It goes down. You know, it's not necessarily Soviet logic in that people don't count or something, but it's Germans are building tanks as if they're a capital investment, meaning going to last for a long time. And so they build, you know, whether it's before the war, during the war, until the very end, and things are collapsing. They're building tanks as if you're going to be in service for years. But in fact, it's normally at most hours of battle do they last.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how many hours in battle, and you can figure it out. So the Soviets just, and because they're, you know, materialists and hyper rational kind of thinkers, they just go, well, hey, and boom, I just died to a Yag. Hey, we're going to have a certain amount of casualties anyways. Vehicles are going to last a certain amount of time. So we're just designing our army to fight for as long as it's going to, you know, functionally fight. And then we don't care about that. We'll bring in fresh units. Again, everything. Again, I'm saying this because my information is old, but also may be wrong in that it's, you know, a lot of it, my training, the Soviet Union still existed. But the idea was the Soviets did not plan to send reinforcements. You know, I'm talking Warsaw Pact Soviets here.
Mm-hmm.
Did not plan on sending reinforcements to units. Hey, Eric. They were going to use up units, and they designed their offenses into the West to use up units, and they would know, you know, at least by planning, how far they would get until they were, you know, used up from casualties and whether it's mechanical casualties. Just
I created you whole units. I'm gonna use the whole units. That's
but you use it up, but then you send in a follow-on unit instead of trying to send in replacements or reinforcements to that unit. So that is sort of their battle doctrine. So you know, the whole thing follows is, wow, this Yag got me again. I was looking at a different target. But yep, he's still out there. Now I can use this and maybe move up and kill him with artillery, which is what I should have done. So if you have these battle doctrines that are all of this stuff is consumable when you go to war, like I was saying, they would leave their, you know, most units would just drive one platoon of tanks and just swap out who the drivers were for training purposes, and all the rest just sit in the warehouse ready to go, so they wouldn't consume them in training. And that was their, you know, that, you know, so they would preserve.
There's an M18 moving up there.
Okay, well.
Just in the, I think, past those couple buildings. Oh, never mind, he got killed.
And, you know, so if your battle doctrine is a consuming one, and it's based on percentages, well, hey, if a certain number of vehicles just don't work or whatever, that's fine. They only need to last a few hours, and then we go on from there. Let's put your artillery right there. You're an open top vehicle. Whatnot, and so that goes to their design doctrine. The only reason the AK is so lasting, I think, just comes down to
it's a well-designed weapon.
Well, partly it's a well-designed weapon, but it goes back to the old sort of you know, Imperial Russian idea that it's just sort of an unbreakable thing to hand out to soldiers. And it needs to be, because it's, whether it's training or battlefield operation, it's going to get used a lot. So you need a simplistic, functional weapon. And when they try to do,
yeah, the Yak is there.
Yep, critical on him, and he's down.
Yeah, nice.
when they tried to do a semi-auto rifle, and they made many thousands, I think in the 100,000s. It didn't
You're
work
talking
out
about
so well.
SKS?
No, I'm talking the what is it, SVT or whatever, before World War II starts. Yeah, they're just not that good.
They took a whole lot of inspirations from German designs.
No, it's the other way around. Germany takes inspirations from that.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Huh.
Germany did not have a semi-auto rifle at the time that they were the 39 and the 40 were developed.
Tomorrow
I'm
I get to
trying
start-
hard to get. Oh no, you can talk.
Tomorrow I get to send I'm gonna have to figure out my predicament tomorrow with my guy.
Right.
Oh,
So that's
nice.
gonna be fun. I can tell if that's okay with you, gamer.
Yeah,
I don't
sure.
mind telling it.
Yeah.
So I waited for like half a day when I was on Friday. I drove out to Oslo to meet the guy I was gonna buy my rifle from. Yeah. I'm there 3:30, right? So 3:30, and I wait, and he's like, "I'm gonna be there at 6, right?" So I'm like, "Okay, well, I guess I got to stay here and do nothing for or do something for 3 hours, right?" And he's like, "I'm gonna be there at 7." I'm like, "Okay, you're allowed to traffic, right? That's okay." He finally arrives, and he pulls out my rifle that I'm buying, and it's not the rifle I'm buying. It's the wrong one, and he's already filled out the paperwork with that rifle for some reason. So now he said we're gonna have to fix this, and he's like, he doesn't have the rifle on him, of course, so we'll have to somehow figure out a way of doing this. But I'm probably not gonna try and travel far
No,
because
no, Eric. He needs to just send you the rifle.
he should be able to, yeah.
Yeah,
He should.
if so long as it's a legal thing to do in Norway, just insist upon it. He sends you the rifle. It's
Hello.
Hey, Dino.
Hello.
Hey, hi Dana.
Yeah, I won't play today. I'm got sick.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Ah, okay.
And yeah, yesterday I pumped myself full of medicine so I could watch the Lord of the Rings extended edition in cinema.
Ooh.
All 3 parts on the same day.
Oh, that is brutal on yourself.
Yes, I actually everyone there got a certificate. I survived 726 minutes of the Lord of the Rings triple feature OV extended edition.
How many hours is that?
What?
How many
What movie
hours
did you
was
watch?
it?
How many hours? Well,
Lord of the Rings.
Oh, okay, yeah.
lots of hours. I think like 10 or a little over 11 hours. I think.
Damn.
Like it. Well, I got it started at around 11 o'clock and ended at I think shortly after midnight. So.
Huh.
Yeah, and then the German train network is garbage, and the bus that currently there are no trains running from the city where I watched the movie to my hometown. Instead, there should be buses, but the bus never came, nor did most of the other buses. Me and the other half, actually almost 24 people there were almost at like grabbing torches and pitchforks and marching to the German train like headquarters, but well, that was not a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Now, I have a question for you. What nation has a good train network?
Not Germany.
Yeah.
Well,
The
you're
Netherlands had
saying
pretty good.
not Germany, but I'm just wanting to know who has a good net because say it's
Yeah.
garbage, but I want to know compared to what.
Compared to how it used to be. Like It
How
it
it used to be in
didn't
Germany.
just for example, in the times of my parents, sure, trains and buses would come late sometimes, but they would at least come at around the time. Like, yeah, they would, and really big, like when like a lot of like 5-10 minutes late were comparatively rare, and it was very rare that buses or trains would just not appear at all without pretty much any real reason or warning. Whereas nowadays that is a regular occurrence. Like Germany's train and like bus network is pretty much notoriously terrible in Europe.
Okay,
Like
because
the British,
back in the day, Italy's trains were terrible because and to a second degree, France's were because they were constantly going on strike, and they had all these kinds of union rules that certain areas had to be done by certain unions, so they're constantly a train going along, and then got to stop and wait for a different engine from a different thing, and so I'm just wondering what you consider good. You're just more talking about standards of falling down from previous standards.
yeah,
So,
it's pretty much the
okay.
previous standards were okay, and the current standards are so terrible that the British are making fun of us because their like buses and trains work way better than ours do.
Yeah.
Like it was this year, there was like the whole European like football thing going, and the whole thing just like the whole buses and trains and so just completely collapsed in on itself, and it was a complete like disaster for like Germany's political and like image, to the point where it almost seemed that where it almost like projected the image of like a failed state in some ways
Well,
to the
I'm
rest of
hearing from
Europe.
a lot of people, well, maybe from a few people, but from a very different directions, that humanity peaked in about 2000, and the things are just breaking down and falling apart.
I can believe that.
And I just is one more data point.
I can believe that, but
Well,
yeah,
99%
the
of the internet is dead now, so.
What?
Yeah.
The statistics like 80%.
Werewolf, we can barely hear you now, for some reason.
The statistic
Yeah.
is like 80% for dead internet theory.
Right.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because
It's made up of
yeah, it's bots and whatnot. But because it used to be the back in the 90s and into the early 2000s, the internet was growing exponentially. The more websites, more data usage, and everything like that. But now it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
contracting.
Well, that was probably one of the worst things when it came to there. Like I think around 3 buses were supposed to come. One eventually did come over an hour late, and like in the whole train, like the German, the Deutsche Bahn, the German like train
Right.
company, to just say, has like an app that is supposed to tell you when things come, but the app is pretty much useless. It almost never accurately tells you when like a bus doesn't come or is cancelled, or it's really not good. But well, I'll stop talking because I just wanted to tell why I'm not coming
Thank
today.
you. Thank you.
Yeah,
I
no
wish you
worries.
all a nice
Okay.
evening.
Yeah.
It's
Bye.
just
well.
maybe just move to
Yeah.
Poland. Poland's not terrible. On the train stations over here that I've been at.
Okay. Yeah, I hear criticisms of Poland from a different German friend who has spent a little bit of time there. So compared to
I've been
Germany, so
here almost a year and almost 18 months now total.
yeah. Oh, I know you've been there quite a bit of time. I'm just saying he compares
Bye.
Germany to Poland very negatively. So as a comparison, not saying that Poland is bad, just that Germany's better. So I don't know. I don't know if it's just
I
because
think
he's
Poland's
German
got
and
better gun rights, probably, than Germany.
yeah. Now this one German I'm talking about is a private gun owner in Germany, so which is rare, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know Polish gun rights at all.
I'm waiting for my sauna to warm up.
Aw. His sauna
Many
isn't
times do you
instantly
go
warm.
inside that
He
sauna?
has to wait.
I should
Oh
have
my.
gone inside the sauna.
You should have. It's great.
But how many times have you gone into the sauna?
For me, I go there
Yeah.
daily.
Oh,
Daily.
damn.
Yeah,
Daily. Hello,
it's great.
gamer. We have another gamer here. Can you
Oh, there
join?
could-
Yes, we do have a free slot.
Hmm.
Do you see the link to our Discord server
Discord.
there?
But yeah, sauna's nice. Yager wasn't there for like alarmingly long. I was afraid that he was like dead
He's
or
gonna
something.
cook him.
Yoko might die in there.
Yeah, he
He's
was like
gonna
in there
cook
for like what?
inside.
He was in there for like an hour, wasn't he?
Yeah.
It was like I was actually starting to wonder. Like I had to ask him, "Are you okay there?" He's like, "Yeah. I'm fine." But he properly cooked though.
Oh, yeah, you go like for 45 minutes, right?
No, I
Okay.
do. Uh, I go 10 minutes at a time, 3 times, so like 30 minutes. But it takes
I
time
see.
to shower and all that because I between each 10 minutes I take an ice cold shower. So
Damn. Damn.
it's nice though. I feel like it. I don't know. It's a really therapeutic thing. Just sit there. I have
Thank you.
music now as well. I have like a little thingy in there, little Bluetooth speaker on the bottom because it's still cold down on the bottom. So
Nice.
yep. I'm gonna see if I can get to sell my World War One periscope or my World War One gun scope gamer this week, or at least see if I can get it. Either that or find something I can trade it for, maybe.
Right.
So
Mm.
I'm probably
Okay.
gonna make like.
This gamer, other
I
gamer
also
joined us,
checked
yes?
my I checked my book on or Norwegian or Scandinavian helmets, and my Danish helmet is not 100% original. It looks to be the shell is, but it's missing its emblem on the front. So,
Oh.
but I
Okay.
paid I paid really not much for it, so it's not that big of an issue. It's more I wanted just to have something that could show that shape. So
We have somebody without just a gamer, not any description.
yeah,
Okay. He's made it into the GHQ.
he,
So,
he
what
survived.
is if you want to type somewhere what your
Oh.
what your War
My
Thunder
gosh. It's like-
name is, so I can give you an invite to our squad. You're right now at 3-7 Germany. Hey ZZ, how you doing? Let me see, you sent me a direct message. DM. All right, you cannot use mic. That's fine. You don't have to use mic, but it
Yeah.
does help. Well, I'm doing very well, but it does help. If you can still, like I say, gamer, I don't know what you're, I'm presuming it's not gamer, but what is your War Thunder name? If you can type it somewhere, like in just the general chat or something, up at Discord general chat or some such. I'll give you an invite to squad. I can see, yeah. Okay, I see over there in YouTube. Cool. Oh, we lost him, but let me give him. He's
Well, I will be
Um,
back. I'll be
Is it
back in
in?
about 30 minutes,
Okay.
guys. I'm gonna do some
See if I can find that. Okay.
You're gonna
sauning. I'll
go
be back.
enjoy some hot showers.
Dude, I love
No.
sauning. It's great. It's therapeutic as hell.
That's good.
If you're able
I don't know
to,
how to do that second letter.
what is it, gamer? Is it like
yeah, you can try to. Yeah, if you can send me an
Law.
invite of. Yeah, is that L or I? I don't know. Yeah, give me just it's gamer_1745 and give me a friend request. You may have
Well,
enough
I'll be
to
back.
solve. Okay, see ya.
Yeah, see that.
I always wonder when, sometimes we're just busy talking and Josh has to go, but I always wonder, is he getting like some alert and Poland's being invaded, so they have to scramble to
Yeah.
pick up? Okay.
Oh, we joined.
Okay.
Again.
Yes.
Or
Yeah.
law.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Hungarian.
Yeah. Yeah. I get it. I understand. Yeah. You know how to do a friend?
Just gotta look at something. I could have sworn that
Friends.
that
Right.
it
Well.
had.
Okay. Come on, Jan.
Oh yeah, sorry.
I guess maybe we'll get Gamer in the next one if he can friend me. I can.
He did friend me, by the way.
Oh well.
I can,
Well,
if
you
you
can
give
friend.
me a squad.
Okay, I'll give you. I'll make you leader, and you can invite him.
And I got him invited.
Okay. Well, that works.
I got level 9. He just got 11 units. 11 units.
Look up the year 1745 for Britain. That should give you a good idea of the.
Hello, I did send you an invite.
Yeah, I believe you did. You sent him an invite, not me, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, here he is. If you want to make me leader to squad again.
Yeah, make leader.
And figure out your
1.1.
No, we're at
As I tell
3.7.
you, you're going to suffer, but you're.
I mean, well, we're at
open to
3.7,
try.
so yeah.
Yeah, but it's still like
Yeah.
armor values. And,
Oh, I know. I know.
oh, and there he goes again.
Yeah. It says hi over there. Yes. Okay. Jan would hit the ready. That would at least get one person ready.
Oh, yeah, he did say hi.
Now. He's figuring things out. China, yes. That's one of the nations. We were hoping to play Germany, but pick a nation. Don't have better vehicles. Okay, well, pick a nation. You can pick one of these nations and then hit ready. Okay, that's fine. Again, the button up there, it says ready. Yes, yes. This is, I don't know if this is a language issue or what. We're playing at 3.7.
He just said, hey, yeah.
Yeah. I heard him, but yeah, okay, there you go. You found the ready button. Let's go. Yes, I know.
SU-76M.
That can penetrate a lot of things.
Yeah, that can penetrate.
Doesn't have good armor, but yeah.
Yeah, the Chiha actually is with the heat round. I think it's still 80 millimeters of armor, so that could probably pen it, pen things at this PR. But I think its post penetration is bad. I think. Okay, let's go then.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. That's good. There we go. Good. Nice map. Basically, 1745 was the last decent chance that we had before everything went to shit in the world. It really starts going to shit in 1688, but there were a couple of chances, these two of them, to turn it around, and the last one was 1745. And the world's just gone to shit since then. So all these people that are, oh my god, the world's going bad. Now, hell, it's been bad for a few hundred years. No, a few hundred years. 300 years, it's been bad.
Yeah.
The world's been bad for 300 years. I mean, my god.
Well, by our modern standard, it's...
I mean, we've gotten technologically better developed, yes, but the world's been going to shit for 300 years, so I mean, my god.
There's a T-34, I think, is moving across towards those houses. I don't know where I'm gonna even place my cannon barrel. Oh.
Okay. Down behind here. Luna died, but hopefully this vehicle doesn't know I'm here. Yes, I know you're telling me to get back on the battlefield. No, he doesn't know I'm here. I think he knows I'm here.
Oh,
All
I've been
this
seeing
smoke
more
crap.
of Althist
Right.
community posts. He
Mhm.
recently did one of Hollywood and how that went to shit.
But alt hist, he definitely gets the idea that a lot of modern thought is just crap, but I don't think he really understands.
How deep it goes, or
Well, just where and when it's actually, what we've lost, where it's been going, how long it's been bad.
oh,
If you really need to understand Whig history, and their thought.
Whig history?
Whig, yeah, Whig history.
Okay.
And the way they look at history, and no, it's not the history of Whigs, but they are. Oh, hello. They are in essence the proto. You got the proto progressives.
You mean like a libertarian and such and
No,
all of
no,
that?
no, no, no. Whigs present the idea that things are getting better. It's progressive. They definitely they believe in progress. And no, I
Mhm.
don't mean technical progress, like a new engine, but human progress. That I don't know that they are as Marxist as tabula rasa, blank slate, and we can just through
Got that.
through education or through environment is just going to make better people like the Marxists. But they are progressive in their viewpoint and understanding of humanity, which is not apparently the fact. Because I would say that we've had one bit of progress in, at least in Western societies, the general concept that slavery in and of itself is a bad thing, or slavery just based on randomness or something. Somebody catches you and turns you into a
Yeah,
slave,
low, to your left side there's someone.
as opposed to like, oh, you committed a crime, and to pay for that crime, we're gonna have you in forced labor or something like that. But
Mm-hmm.
just because, oh, hey, somebody caught you, you're now a slave. That has changed. But I don't know if that's a real change in human nature or a rational self-interest change. Just, well,
I
hey, if you can't just randomly catch people as slaves, I won't be caught and turned into a slave. Along with one other change that does happen, and that's a technological change, in that muscle power is no longer
as
a
requirement.
a need to move to do things other than the rare wind and water power. It had been muscle power, whether an animal or a human. Things were done with muscle power, basically, because first the steam engine comes along, and then the internal combustion engine. Much of the work can be done using engines, and those who take care of engines need to not just, it's not so much be smarter or be better educated, but willingness to actually solve problems, where a slave doesn't necessarily want to solve a problem. If the engine breaks, he gets to stand there and wait until somebody fixes it, or until he fixes it. So whether he spends 10 minutes fixing it or 10 hours fixing the engine, getting it running, it doesn't matter to a slave.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're, oh well, you're going to be killed because of this or something, but then you've killed a valuable slave. So, yes, I see you, and you just killed me as I'm getting ready. So it's partially two practical instances. I think can be partially. I do think there is a humanitarian aspect to.
I would actually argue for the humanitarian, for obvious reasons.
I know you say that, and in Western society, that I think is a real case for that, a very real case. But then I can see the Soviet Union and what they did to people and what the Nazis did to people as well. But if you look at Africa, you look at Asia.
The idea is still there.
Yeah, you can even look at Latin America. That I don't know that they would be all that trouble with the idea of a formal slavery system. I think it's more enlightened self-interest. If there are no slaves, then I won't become a slave. And I don't need to physically grind my coffee every morning or grind my flour every morning, from wheat to flour every morning. I can, if I want fresh ground coffee, I just pour it in the thing and push a button, and it goes zzz, and out pops, ground coffee. And so we don't need that muscle power in the morning to get fresh ground coffee. It's just can be done electronically, or however you want to say it, through the means of a machine. So machine, you can, if you wanted to bake fresh bread every day, including freshly ground
Oh,
flour.
you got it.
Bad shot. Freshly ground wheat every day. It's very doable, even for a rich person, very easily. You know, you don't have to get a fire going in the stove, whether it's a 19th century metal stove or some sort of stone hearth. You just, you know, you put the wheat in the grinder. Out pops flour that's separated from its husks and whatnot. Probably I don't know that there is, you know, equivalent of a flour grinder slash, you know, as a coffee grinder, but it wouldn't be hard to make. And you can put it in a because I know they have them large scale, but an electronic kneader of the bread, you know, that mixes the flour and the water and the eggs or whatever that's going into the bread. God, I hardly know what you do to make bread. But that can be done very mechanically, and then you can put it in an electric or gas stove that is near instantly hot to a precise temperature that you can preset. And a billionaire.
I took his loader, not his gunner. God damn it.
And a billionaire can efficiently get.
Sorry.
I missed. Can efficiently get very, you know, instantly fresh bread. Yes, I'm at max level. I've peaked out on levels. Gamer. So yeah, billionaires don't need slaves to make instantly fresh bread themselves. They can do it themselves if they wish. Now, of course, also a billionaire can afford to hire a full-time chef. You know, not a millionaire, but a billionaire can do so. So they don't need slaves, whether to buy them or to, you know, whatever, fire them in some manner. And so there's that change. So I do think part of the change for lack of slavery is technological as well as sociological. Yeah. I'm of the opinion that way. So I am not a progressive. I am not just a progressive like in the 19th century, trying to a progressive communist versus a revolutionary communist. So that was sort of the distinction, if you will, between.
Finally, I got him. Oh.
So, but Whigs they believe history is a progression line. Not
that I don't believe in.
Yeah, not, and you know, making progress towards better social development, and that is. I need to. Okay, we'll kick you in and let you come back in a bit.
Yeah.
The Middle East still has slavery in some of China, yes, and so yes, so and that's really, at least in my understanding of history, because China very much looks to the past with Confucianism and to a golden era. China is always comparing itself to a golden era of the past. So it's a backward-looking philosophical nation, if you will. The West has been a forward-looking philosophical nation, looking to new ideas, new things. But we really see it's Whig history, and it's the way they write and tell the story of history, and whatnot. So, that is, and Rudyard of Alt Hist doesn't really look that far back. At least I've not detected it. And he may have very well read a book or two, but it has not entered his his any of his presentations that I've watched that he's mentioned.
I see.
And so, yes. And, you know, there's, you know, and part of the world going to shit is those goddamn fucking Dutch assholes. Hi, Jan. One of the goddamn fucking Dutch assholes, Jan. His people are responsible for part of it. So.
Oh, you mean Willem Warren, I think.
Well,
No, that...
he's the one that. Oh shit, I'm not in the right colors, but he is the one that particularly brings it to England. Yes, but it's also the sort of Calvinistic Protestantism that is partially responsible for this progression idea. It is partially
Yeah.
it is partially this, and they have the elect and all of that, which did predate. There was proto ideas of the elect in some medieval, I don't know if they want to call them heresies, but in some medieval elements of movements in England. I mean, nothing just, are very, very rarely, and things just all of a sudden appear in world events. This is why Marx is definitely infected by this Whiggish viewpoint of history.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the Dutch are spreading it. You know, it definitely comes in partially through the Dutch into the and as in and before William III of England, but he is good job, Jan. He is definitely.
It was a lot easier knowing that you have an automatic rangefinder.
Right. And so, you know, that is part of the problem. I think England could have been great without it. I think there's a lot of do-gooderism, and I don't mean it in a negative sort of way, but and it's as much a religious idea, the do-gooderism, as it is a practical idea or just improving of life. But the do-gooderism that shows up in the British Empire, especially the Second British Empire. I personally have the British Empire in two parts. First part is the American colonies. There's 3 tanks up here.
Yeah,
there's 2 tanks up here. The first British Empire is the American colonies, basically, that they lose. I mean, yeah, there's the Jamaica and whatnot, sugar colonies that are pre-existing and they don't lose. In Canada, they don't lose, but obviously they lose a big chunk of the American, the American part of the empire, and then they build a new one that's already being built in India. That's part of the tax on tea and whatnot. But I count the real British Empire in India and the developments into Africa, deep Africa, and Australia and whatnot as the second. There's a tank right down here who just died, but took out my breach. My breach was out. There may not be another tank here. Maybe I missed and said that there was 3.
I am being shot at, I think, from that hill.
Okay, yeah, that's different. No. But I thought I saw 3 moving vehicles. Maybe it was just 2.
Yeah. Kind of.
And so,
do you have this problem where you range find and it finishes, but it does not complete it?
I don't range find.
No?
I know the map fairly damn well, and I can judge distances fairly damn well.
Yeah, there's a tank right there.
And including using that short... Yeah, I see it. Actually, I got a good picture on one side.
No, not being able.
Let's see. Like, all that way. I'm just... not read.
That archer.
Okay. Okay, I got blown up and I missed him, but I was damn close to hitting all the way across there. And just shooting at his turret. though I'm mildly good at this. And so, yeah, the world's just gone to shit.
Yeah, now that I watched all this by the left idea, or how the left is now dominating our culture and everything else, then I feel kind of irritated.
Well,
Yeah.
I would say, you know, I'm sorry I'm interrupting Jan, but I want to address Elizabeth's comment. Britain's commitment to progressivism is on display today. I would sort of disagree with you because Britain's traditional progressivism wouldn't have allowed what's going on because they would want to improve things. They viewed the British Empire and its justification sort of like the Spanish
Mission
well,
to civilize.
yes, but sort of like the Spanish and the Portuguese. Sure, they were raping, you know, their empire and just bringing all the wealth back home, but they were civilizing it. And trust me, they were civilizing it. But it was also a commercial entity where they would have a very strong duty to civilize as well, and it's as much a religious calling, and I say that not just as in religious calling of help humanity. No, it's help humanity find the right path to God, if you will. You know, get the right religion. And so, if it was really the progressives of the British Empire, you know, starting with the Whigs, but now maybe if you go communist atheist, yeah, but Britain traditionally had a path to progress that was a religious path, and they would not have wholesale brought in huge numbers of people. They would have brought in people, they did, but there would be this really strong proselytizing mission to these people, and if these people weren't allowing that to happen, meaning violence was being used against, you know, internal British missionaries, if you will, to the Muslim communities, there he is, I see him. They would be. Oh, there's a tank right here in front of me. The tank coming up the road.
Yeah, but
No
I'm
longer.
more
Tank dead.
concerned about
Tank
that.
dead. Tank dead. Okay, let's see. Maybe that's.
I've been marking him.
Yeah. I'm shooting at him. Okay, I'm over. And something else shot me, and I got him, but something else took out my.
Where?
Down, out of the spawn, somewhere in the spawn type range. I don't know. Oh, yeah, through the trees here, something. I don't.
You don't have very good visual.
Oh, yeah, straight in front of me, a ways down the road. Oh, I've been doing reasonably well, and so, and the progress. Oh, good, you got him.
Yeah, there's a second one coming.
And the progressives, traditionally, I'm talking about, they didn't feel guilt over their empire, where modern Britons do. And so, and it didn't take, and other people then alt hiss, but he definitely brings it out, is the left is on a suicide mission. Now, how do I put what I think is going on? I think that there is a core of the left wants to destroy Western civilization because they're radical communists. You know, they may, whether they're revolutionary communists or they're progressive communists, they're radical. And so the way to succeed is they have to destroy the current civilization. And part of civilization currently is religion, you know. And they want to destroy trust in institutions, if you will, and all of that. That's going on, and they're allied with other anti-Western civilization types. I don't know if you've been noticing Greta Thunberg recently, and she's been going on a jihad that's anti-Israeli. Now, I don't know what that has to do with saving the goddamn environment, but I just think she is just, and whatever mental illnesses she has, because of her autism or whatever, I think she is just, again, is anti whatever the West is. Good job.
I got like almost my ace.
Yes, and so they, are just looking at anything to tear down the current system. Now, if you get a bunch of children together and you teach them about global warming and it's going to kill the planet and man is responsible for it, they actually internalize it and believe it. So they have become societally suicidal, if you will. And so,
Low is want to be back.
okay, I'll let you. I'll make you leader again, and you can invite him in.
Oh yeah, she is saying that the ideas of progress has changed quite a
Oh,
bit
yes,
and
yes.
returned to the modern kind.
But you see, I don't. But again,
Oh yeah,
how do I?
yeah, thank you.
I think. I don't know. Yeah, I guess it can and maybe does follow from the earlier progressiveness that they had, but I see this as a whole new ideology than what I see in the past. And so, like I say, so you get two or three movements that are all anti-Western. China is naturally anti-Western just because it's pro themselves and it sees the world as a zero-sum game. Either we're winning or they're winning kind of thing, and we want to be winning, so they will get in control of like TikTok, and then it's very clear that TikTok promotes some clearly anti-Western movements.
Yeah.
And just because they're anti-Western, like pro-Palestinian or whatever. And so that those things will get boots in. Now, I don't know, probably, but I don't know, that they're artificially getting viewers. But even if they're not artificially getting viewers, I'm sure they're getting recommended, not because they're, other people are viewing them so they're popular, just because they're carrying the right message, so it gets promoted, on it. So
The modern message.
and I'm sure that there's also just a bunch of promoting, I don't know, pretty girls dancing around and cat videos and puppy videos, just because they understand that you need the audience. So you need to bring in something that is actually entertainment to get the audience to the event. This is like Kamala Harris used, I forget her name, one, and maybe used several of them, rap stars or whatever, to come out and
Endorse her?
come out. Well, no, not endorse her, but actually perform as an opening act to her event. And so these people were mostly, it was thought, and I think it's probably correct, were coming out to see the performance, and then they have to put up with the political Um,
Style of it.
yes, where Trump is his own act, or his own, entertainment act, not just because you want to hear his political speech, but he's a good performer, so he doesn't need a, come and watch me because somebody is there. Tank destroyer also over here who just shot me and took out a bunch of stuff. But and so that's a good solid, yeah, Megan Thee Stallion or whatever. Yes, Elizabeth. I don't know her as a performer. I just, and maybe good, maybe bad. Probably not my style of music either way. And so, and I would, and we've definitely seen in the past country western stars used as sort of warm-up acts for Republicans. So it's nothing that I wouldn't do as a political animal, trying to figure out how to get people to my event. I would readily use entertainers. Now, sure, you want their endorsement, as in that it's not just they're doing it for money. I like this, politician, he's good, but I don't necessarily think that that's going to get me a lot of votes, other than in our society, if all of institutions are saying you're bad or evil, well, then that sort of is a downgrade. Can you admit to being a supporter of somebody? So it's not like, oh, Kelsey Grammer's a Republican, so people are going to vote for him. No, it's just Kelsey Grammer and maybe another bunch of other people say it's acceptable to be a Republican. And I'm very willing to understand, because I do, that there are Republicans and there are Democrats, and most of them are never voting for the other side. It's, as a practical matter, it's the middle that you can attempt to convince to vote for the other side. And those are the people that you're trying to to get to vote for you that wouldn't otherwise. And you need to be thought of as at least an acceptable
and that's where Trump is not.
Well, it has
good at.
issues. It has issues.
Yes,
yes.
issues.
But, and I'm going to get blown up here. Yes, but I took that one. I had spawn protection. Okay, good.
Oh, he's gonna be so mad.
Yes, he got shot down and he didn't kill him.
Yeah.
And so but just as a warm-up act, come and see whatever, whether if it was a stand-up comedian or whether it was a, musician. It's not so much that I would use them because the Rolling Stones endorse me and they're such brilliant political science. No, they're just willing to come and do a concert gig, and they're going to do good music, so you're going to get some entertainment out of it as the warm-up act. Or even as the closing act, and maybe come and hear me first, so you don't all leave after they, play. So, yeah, I would definitely use any sort of band that I could get that I think would be a draw on their own to my event, my rally, to come and hear my message. Whether you would vote based upon recommendations of your favorite music group, or not, doesn't really, to me, matter.
Something different.
It would just be, and if I had options, in certain areas I'd use country and western music, in certain areas I'd use heavy metal music, in other areas I would use pop music, based upon various demographics. Critical, severe, and you are falling out of the sky. Boom.
I died once again to that T-28.
So yeah,
it's rather inappropriate to be
now
having about sex for money, but vetting for Kamala's gain of power. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
okay. How do I put this? And I'm torn on this issue, and I'm going to talk about it very, very briefly, and then probably not go here again at any time soon. Not never, but it's just we currently have a religion that is anti-Western, and
How did you
and,
get me?
and I'm rather pro-Western, and so when your religion is sort of anti your culture, it's sort of kind of weird. And I'm talking about Christianity. Christianity is an Eastern philosophy. It is not a Western religion. It is somewhat Westernized, but realize, like in Greece, out in front of every home was a phallus. If you know what that is, and I don't know that you need to type it in. If you know, you don't need to type it in chat. We're not trying to get demonetized here. And the idea that intercourse is something that is naughty and shouldn't be sung about is
It's sacred.
well, no, it's the opposite of sacred.
Yeah, but I was thinking about
But-
I was thinking a few.
You know, because
that.
to me, I can separate religious dogma, if you will, or religion on how you believe the universe works versus its sort of cultural viewpoint. And I guess a good example would be, like should you know, I've definitely, you know, stable families are great and are something that should be promoted. But how many wives should you have, or something like that? You know, I know the Mormons get more than, or their religion. I know modern day Mormons. Well, I know there's some guys that live, men and women that live out in the, you know, desert, remote communities, but not mainstream have, you know, multiple wives. But you know, to me, that's a cultural thing. Even if, and I really don't believe, and again, I very rarely talk about what I believe in religion, but I don't believe God, whatever creator entity up there, you know, is really cares how many wives somebody has. Now, they may care how you treat people, to like cheating on somebody, you know, going behind their back is betraying them. Oh, he's got to go. Okay, see ya. That I can see as a bad value, you know, just as you know, cheating on somebody. And so you know, I'm not one of these people that believes that X religion is the only path to salvation, you know, and you got to follow this version of religion, and that's the only way to get to salvation. I don't believe that at all. That doesn't mean that I'm some loosey-goosey, any religion gets you to God. That's not necessarily the truth either. You know, I'm just saying it's I don't think it's hardline one thing. And talking to Jan, I think he may disagree with me, but that's fine. And so, you know, and you don't have to state. I'm not trying to get you to state agreement or disagreement or whatever. So,
well, it's more that I want to state my disagreement, but go on, make your further point.
And so singing about having sex for money, you know, yes, it wouldn't be appropriate. I wouldn't have that in my set list for a Republican or conservative thing. But then I think, well, what about a Kiss song? And I don't, you know, there's a bunch of songs about prostitution in Kiss music. So, if you know the band. So I don't know, you know. And so I don't find any of that offensive. and I consider myself a
Well,
conservative. Okay, Jan, you can have the floor for a moment.
I think they also don't mind it because prostitution is the oldest job in the world, but it's frowned upon because of, well, it's frowned upon because it's biological, the transmission that you could have and such and all of that stuff. So
Yes,
I think
disease
that's why
disease spreading is a real
little threat.
real threat and does happen.
Yeah, so
And
I think that's why they also took that into, oh, you should not have
yeah,
prostitution. But I think if you talk to, well, not most Christians, but like some Christians would say that prostitution could be all right. Like but
well, okay,
it
and
depends.
yeah, it depends, and you don't have to
Rationalize everything.
well, yeah, well, and Elizabeth doesn't like hedonism, and that's fine. I'm not trying to promote that. I'm just going that I like I say, I think. Oh, there's a tank right up there. Let's see, can I get a good shot at it? And machine gun the exposed crew, and it's destroyed. Is we have a religion based on desert dwellers. Somehow at least
You're somewhat taking Fritz's position. No.
Yes, I am. I am not. And if you actually look at some of alt hist, and if he lets you, some people, some people will hear something and revolt against it. But if you let him influence you, he talks a lot about masculinity and femininity, including in sort of society and religion, and it's sort of the Christianity is sort of a feminized viewpoint, if you will, and so as opposed to the sort of more warrior paganism out there, and if he very much talks about balance, but I see this. I am not a person that is like Fritz in the sense that the pagan gods are something I look to by any means, but I do see that we've lost a lot, and we're losing more in Western culture by going too hard in one perspective, if you will.
I see.
And so, one of the things is, in my various philosophies, including like dietary philosophies, everything in balance kind of thing. And, having stuff in balance. And so, now I'm not saying my diets are balanced or properly balanced, but I believe that is sort of the best concept.
Everything in moderation.
Moderation, yeah. But yeah, moderation is another term, I guess, for balance, if you will. And so, yeah, and so it's not that we should be putting up altars to Odin and Thor or something alongside of Christian crosses. I see the paganistic religions as, and including Eastern paganism, like Hinduism, as very primitive, as needing to, and I butcher this word, I try not to, but anamorphize things, and what that is giving like animals human traits. You see this in cartoons, that they have a dog that walks around and talks, and things like that. And I don't know what the right term for God or whatever, but is talking about religious things and making them more human-like. Like I like to say, and I think it's a beautiful painting with a beautiful idea, but the Sistine Chapel, where you have, whether it's, and it's debated, Michelangelo, whether that's just before, because you see God reaching out to Adam and Adam reaching out to God with their finger to give the spark of life to. Is that just before the spark of life or just after the spark of life is given, kind of thing? And it's a great conceptual idea. And so long as you think of it, for me, as a conceptual idea, not as a reality that God is some old guy with a big flowing white beard that's sort of very Zeus-like, but that's, I think, that's where the Westerners, interpreted from their Western cultural viewpoint.
I don't know.
Some of the Western, hey Niagara, some of the Westernizing of Christianity. But as long as you take that as a metaphor, then I'm fine with it. I'm very good with it. An old wise man is your sort of stand-in symbolization of God, as opposed to like the Muslims. Oh, you can't have any representation of God. We're going to put all kinds of geometric artwork or flower artwork around, so long as nothing is an animal or a human depiction that they might be mistaken for a god or a saint or or whatever the equivalent is, historical religious figure in Islam. So we have to keep all representations of humanity out of their religious buildings and their artwork, and anything that might be construed as being that has to be removed. I think that is a bad idea. That is also a simplistic idea in that people can't see and understand metaphors. But
Well,
I don't see God as a human being at all, or something that looks like a human being. Or if he wished to appear as such, that would be fine. But I don't think that is his nature.
Well, I'm going to somewhat disagree because from the way I see it, I think. Well, I'm probably gonna say some heretical stuff, but I think God is basically not an advanced human, but it's what the potential we could be.
Gamma, you can invite me if you
Yes, we
still
will.
play.
We are playing, and we will invite you.
Cool.
What a human can do, and what a human can be, and such, and we're trying to strive for it.
Yeah, I understand, but you see, again, is why I talked about those goddamn Dutch guys. Is that sort of Whiggish religion, if you will, as that we're supposed to be something other than what we are. I'm not saying we're not supposed to be the best of ourselves, but trying to be something that we're not. And like I say, and I'm getting off religion here, but I don't see a significant change from what we'll call other civilized human beings. I'm not talking about primitives that live in a jungle or primitives that live up in the Arctic ice caps. I'm talking about Romans, Greeks, high middle age humans, Confucius, high levels of Confucianism in China. I don't see a fundamental difference in humanity. I know that goes against Star Trek and Gene Roddenberry's, but again, Roddenberry is a progressive. Not a revolutionary communist, but a progressive.
So you would say that the Federation in not in Star Trek, but God damn it! No, I forgot the movie.
No, Star Trek, yeah.
No, not Star Trek. The other one.
Star Wars, The Empire.
No, not Star Wars.
Warhammer.
No.
What's the other one?
The Bugs.
Oh, Starship Troopers.
Yeah, Starship Troopers. So you would say that it's also progressive.
Well,
I think.
no, I wouldn't necessarily. It's based on the idea of to to have a say in what goes on, you must do service. So I see that as dealing with our nature, if you will. It's not everybody gets a vote. It's only those who do service get votes. And it's not necessarily, if you actually read the book, and 99% of the people, and this is something I just saved a meme on, 99% of the people that criticize Starship Troopers have never read the book, including
Only watched
Paul
the movie.
Verhoeven. Yeah, they've only watched Paul Verhoeven, who's a communist or a progressive. I don't know that he's like wants to pull out the guillotine and start guillotining people, but he
Would
is.
not be surprised if you wanted to.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know him well enough, but I've heard enough that he is a type of progressive. So he starts reading the book, and the book was originally written for like high schoolers. It was originally written, and it gets rewritten before published. But the writer, Henline, is that the writer, or whoever?
Yeah, Heinlein.
Heinlein. Yeah, he was at the time, and it was sort of the last book that he was writing for books for youth, like high school students. So there's a lot of high school drama at the beginning of that book that probably turned him off for wanting to read the book. But it's really sort of a not libertarian as in a lot of modern libertarian kind of thing, but as because you have service requirements and other things that the libertarians probably would not buy into. But it is a liberty-minded society. But again, it's not elect by being inherently better. It's by doing service. And you look at it, it's actually sort of hard at the start of the book to get into the military because they were fighting on other planets a bit.
Yeah,
But it wasn't like a big society war, and they only wanted, because, and also they were, which they couldn't afford for the movie, they were fighting in sort of mechs, that were about as effective as an M1 Abrams tank. So they, didn't need lots and lots of people, and they only wanted the best to be in that. But you could do other service as part of your requirement. And the idea that the guy's family comes from is actually a wealthy family, and I think part of the idea as they get wealthy is that they don't do service. They go into business early on, and they're what? Oh, the aircraft, yeah. And so, yeah, you're looking at that, and I would say it's a different idea. It's not that humanity, and I really much from the book, it's not that humanity is progressively made better in that. It's that they have laws that deal with the fuckers. If you're a rapist, you get, maybe chemically castrated plus put in prison for life. It's
Plus capital punishment tonight, Channel 5.
It's dealing with the real problems of humanity. And if you need to make prisons for 20 million people, you make prisons for 20 million people so the parks at night are safe. It's not that somehow there are no longer rapists that would go into the parks, by some sort of changing of human nature. It's just the consequences plus once we identify you as being not a good citizen, you're put away. Elizabeth said, I had the Starship Trooper comics, didn't know there was a book. Yes, read the book if you want to. It's a short book. I read it a few years ago, and I definitely don't ever watch the middle of the 3 movies. It's really weird, sucks, and really bad in many ways. The first movie's very good. The third movie's okay. The TV series, it was one of the first, if not the first, computer animated TV series, and just a short run. That as actually for in many ways more the book than the movie. So that's what I would recommend. And I have not read any of the comics. I have some of the older Dark Horse Star Wars comics when they were good, but I'm not really a big comic book person, so I have not looked at that. So I don't know. I don't know what philosophy they're spreading in the comics. But no, so I don't see that. I don't see that at all in Starship Troopers, that somehow they were perfecting humanity. It's more of a realistic look at humanity, is my take on it, at least. And so, like I say, I don't believe in any of this progressivism. Now, I understand that. Well, I have a different understanding than most Americans. Most Americans are individualists. Most Americans believe that now and as Rudyard of Alt His talks about, the American dream for most people is no longer, for Americans, it's no longer obtainable. That's, it is no longer affordable for 80% of American society for somebody in your 20s to get married and buy a house from the job that you have. It just is just not a practical thing, and he's very right about that. You don't in your 20s afford a house and get married.
In these times.
Well, that's what he means. I mean, in the last 20, 30 years, it's no longer, for most people. Obviously, there will be people, whether they go to the right schools or just get the right jobs, that they will make that kind of money, and not just because they're crypto bros, but just sort of professionally go along and get that. But most people, that is not attainable. It used to be that, yeah, you were working at almost any sort of job, and you were not, shall we say, sitting in the middle of densely populated New York City. I mean, that was sort of an extreme for America. But if you're out in a lot of them, you could go get a house somewhere and start making payments on it, working at a grocery store. Maybe not at the box boy level, the very entry level kind of stuff, but if you were something of a career person there, you could afford a house, making payments on it. Not that you have like all the money to buy it all at once, but that is no longer a functional reality. So Americans are very much with the idea of self-made person, and it's you. Where I see it much more, in, at least coming from the English standpoint, and no, I don't have children, and that's partially economic. I mean, it's more than partially economic, and I can talk about various reasons why I have not gotten married. But part of it is economic in the sense that I've lived most of my life in California, and I would not get married to allow a woman to take half of my possessions if she doesn't like living with me anymore. Yeah. So I don't like community property at all. I'm fine if she's also contributed. Are we lost, John?
Yeah, I have my daily tasks done.
Okay.
I will still be in the call, but just
okay.
no, playing.
3-7 gamer?
Yep, 3-7.
Alrighty, 3-7 it is.
Unless you want to go to 4-3 or something.
No, I'm fine.
Okay. So a lot of it is economic reasons, but I see myself as a continuity of many generations, and as opposed to an individual. And so if you look at that, and if you think of you as a continuity of generations in the past that will go generations into the future, the idea of nobility makes a certain amount of sense. But I get people, and especially somebody like Lum, who has an allergic reaction to the idea of how is somebody better just because of the way they're born. Well, I could say partially, your genetics, and I definitely think people are smarter or dumber based on individuals. I'm not, again, talking about race. I don't know enough about race. But I'm talking about individuals. I think two smarter parents are more likely to have smarter children. I think there is a genetic element to all of that. But I also see a so why? But also, if you're coming out of, you gotta remember, and I disagreed with, we'll call him my uncle. He's a relative, but not quite uncle. In
Uncle
that,
Bob.
Uncle Bob.
my uncle, we were talking about it, and I said, because we were sort of talking about a little bit about what we think the chaos is coming, and he sort of brought up the Bible. I go, yeah, but that's already happened. The world's already ended. We've already gone into the Christian era. And he disagreed with me, fine. And because we're both real adults, we're not upset at each other because we disagree. Because I think basically Revelation's happened, and if you add one word to it, Roman world or civilized world or whatever that comes to the end with the barbarians taking over the Roman Empire and destroying that world, I take that as to be the meaning of what they were talking about. So that has come and gone. But you can disagree. That's fine. So, post-apocalyptic world, the Dark Ages, the Middle Ages, and where a lot of people weren't reading, including a lot of nobles, but you have somebody who's sort of kind of trained to be something of a ruler. They're going to do better than somebody who's trained to be a farmer. And so you have formality of roles and whatnot set up with titles of nobility that do make a certain amount of sense, but also don't when you really sort of look at people can rise out of other circumstances. So a rigid nobility in a modern sense probably wouldn't make real sense. Let's see if I can keep that in him. I hit, but didn't do any damage, I guess. So the idea that should we have hereditary nobility that gets to rule over us, I can readily see the argument against that. And so with Whigs, and a lot of the Whigs were the rising sort of merchant class, I see people seeing we're talking again, those who may have just joined us, how the world's been going to shit since 1688. So should, back even then, most people didn't read and write. Should we have, that was just luck, I was firing where I thought they were. Should we have a hereditary nobility? I don't know, but just, I think it's not inherently a bad thing, but it's also not something that should be overly determinate. Meaning individuals' accomplishments are important, are very important, and capabilities. So, yeah, I think the world that we've lost, the world that humans interact with humans and manage the situation, if you will, as opposed to, again, cogs and formulas, we've lost it, and it's been a long, slow slope. Maybe, and World War I is sort of the catalyst as I'm coming to see this. Let's just shoot the damn tree.
Gamer, watch it. I just killed one, but there's another dude, and he just killed one of my Hanses.
Okay.
I tried to mark him. He was. Oh, he's dead already. He was here, but he's dead. But there is someone closing up on you. I see it on the map.
Yeah, hopefully one of my fellows here will take that.
Yeah, there's a Panzer IV-H looking at him, but he's getting strafed by the plane.
Okay. Oh, he's dead. Okay.
Okay, I see another one right here. He's back. Okay, M4, he's dead.
He's popping smoke around me. Just what I want. Yay. Can't see a thing. The first movie played the RTS that came out forever ago. Well, if you're talking about the Slytherin game, Starship Troopers, it's really good. I'll be playing that. I think, is it Tuesday? No, I think it's the beginning of in the next month. The Slytherin does. It's rather good.
We're losing Alpha, so they will come from the eye eventually.
Okay. I think I see.
Or maybe behind us if they go all the way around.
Well, yay. Niagara's just with a lot of good thoughts here.
Well, I'm full of sugar right now.
Ah.
I try not to get diabetes, so.
Yeah.
So you're eating. Yeah, sure.
I'm eating toffee and drinking apple juice.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, but it does sound like.
Apple juice had like a shitload of sugar in it, I think.
Yeah.
Like lots and lots. So I'm eating sugar and drinking sugar as well.
Sounds good to me.
Nah, that's a good diet.
Yeah. It sounds like a bad diet, but I don't judge.
Sugar is just energy, so I will be full of energy today.
Good. I'm
How
drinking a
late is
Coke.
it for you today?
I don't have any more work, Jan. I'm unemployed, for fuck's sake.
Yes.
And when are you gonna get some new employment, huh?
I don't know. Maybe next month. I try to start not before November.
Okay.
I want to have the October all for me. All for me and bad decisions.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
See, Niagara
Just-
knows what he's doing.
Fucking his life up. Yeah. That is an interesting life goal.
Good night, guys. I'm gonna go.
Oh, see,
Yeah, bye,
that's-
Eric.
See ya.
Goodbye.
Ooh, got a lot of people.
Oh shit.
Oh, I passed the eye. Did I pass?
Bad guys coming from Charlie. I just hit a fuel tank in front of me. And I hit the tank as well. Yoo-hoo!
Oh, he died. He's looking the wrong way. I left that. Oh, other one. You down?
Man, come on, let me through. I will have a look at Charlie Gamer.
Okay, I'm gonna look at Alpha here.
No.
I'm taking out the two that came through the eye, so nobody else here at the moment.
So, Gamer, guess what?
What?
In the state of Saxony and in the state of Thuringia, you know, the Christian Democrats have comparable or a smaller amount of votes regarding to the right-wing party, right?
Mhm.
And in my home state of Brandenburg, the Social Democrats are in place of the Christian Democrats. And I thought, well, at least one of the states is kind of red, at least.
Oh no, you're becoming communist again. God damn it.
Better
Yeah.
red than dead.
Mm-hmm.
No, wait.
You're dead than red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In my hometown where I came from, the right-wing party has like 40%, and it's the strongest party of all.
Right.
Yeah, but my brother-in-law already told me that AFD will have like an easy game in my town.
Well,
Mm.
do you dislike it or?
Let's put it this way: it's a fault of the bigger parties for the
Yeah.
past 16 years. I can't say the if I like or dislike the right-wing party. What I can say is I dislike the communication strategy of the bigger parties, just telling everyone, no, don't vote for them because they are bad. I thought, what? That's not an argument. This is just like, I don't like you because your shoes are not so pretty like mine. This, no, no.
I think, and you know, I've sort of gotten Niagro's opinion in the past about the AFD, etc. I think there's a real concern of what if they get into power, what would they really do? Not just empowering one city council somewhere, but you know, getting
like federal power.
Because we have the phenomenon that the left has just almost always traditionally lied about what it wants to do. It doesn't tell the whole truth. It just like it tells the sugar-coated version, but they would really move further left than they claim. And there's enough experience with that. And because of a certain party is banned in Germany, for a good reason, but whether that reason is still good today or not is another question. But there's a real concern is the AFD, and there's different people talking, and hardliners, and you know, for them, and more moderates for them. But what would they really be like if they get into power? So, you know, are they lying about it and are really much further right, or are they sort of kind of telling, you know, the basic truth?
Now the problem is we didn't have the AFD in a government position till now. We have the left party. Right. They ruled in Thuringia and they were in a coalition parliament, right? But the AFD never ruled somewhere, only on municipal level, and that's not enough to say okay, they can or cannot do what they say.
Right, that's what I mean. People don't know what they're really going to be like if they get into power. Obviously, I think it would be very clear that they would at least be getting rid of the recent, and I mean in the last like 10 years, the recent, whether you consider them illegal aliens or not, but the recent flood of people that they would be deporting them. And I say get rid of them, it could have a very bad meaning. I mean just simply deporting them. But would they go so far and go all the way back to World War II and get all of the non-Europeans out and et cetera, just how far would they go? I think there's real concern over that and whatnot.
What's a good starting point here?
I think, unlike Weimar, I think there is, and correct me if I'm wrong, Niagara, is there more respect now for the current constitution of Germany compared to Weimar's? Meaning, if a party gets in and starts doing what would be considered unconstitutional stuff, would there be a German revolt?
So.
Yeah, because
not a revolt, but the let's say the rebellion would be more substantial because we have now like let's say half a century of living under democracy, under democratic government, and Weimar Republic was like let's say first try, right? And it doesn't work.
Nobody respected it. The traditional right didn't respect it. The far left didn't respect it. The National Socialists, which were the new right, didn't respect it. So there was very little institutional respect for the Weimar government. And so when Hitler gets into power and he starts changing things, you know, after Hindenburg dies, people are fine with it because nobody really respected the government. I don't think that there's quite the reverence for the Constitution in Germany that Americans have, but I do think there is more respect for it. So,
especially as we don't have a constitution.
Well, you know what I mean.
We have the Grundgesetz, which is a fine basis, but we should have a constitution as well.
Right, and that would be good. And so I think if somehow the AFD were to come into power and actually be the majority party in Germany and become the prime minister, if they really started to do really wacky things, whatever that means, I think they would lose their power in the next election. I don't think I don't think they would be able to become the new dictators in Germany in just one election term, if you will. So
no, never.
I think this panic over them coming into power is unfounded and actually counterproductive, because in a way, maybe the pendulum should swing to the right.
Yeah, from time to time, and even if you just want to like check your balances, that you can see, okay, it works, so we can proceed.
Right, and if things start falling apart, well then you can switch, because I don't think they're going to destroy German society in one term, and so and
it's too deep entrenched for that.
Yeah, and again, so this is why, a party that mass murders people, I can see why you're banning it, National Socialism. But if it's just far rightism, whatever that may be, so long as it doesn't appear that they are trying to mass murder people, just maybe mass deport people, based upon, not on race, but on, citizenship or lack thereof, or whatever that may mean. Yeah, that's a different matter. Or national, or a citizenship based on their national citizenship, where they're from. There's a KV2 right, just killed me right in front of me.
Oh wait, what?
So he's coming towards my body. He's going to be behind you in a moment.
Okay.
But he just fired, so he's got 30 seconds to reload. 28 seconds, I think, is the fastest reload time you could possibly.
If I would have known where you were when you get killed, I think.
Oh.
No. I can see a dead KV2.
Right near the dead KV2, there's also a live one.
He was just strafed by the HS here. So the question is, will he be on my right or my left side? Let's just stay here and wait for a while.
And so I'm not saying the other parties should roll over and just let the AFD come to power. But I don't think there should be this panic over them that, oh my God, there's going to be the next, dictator of Germany if they get majority power. I don't think that at all. I could be wrong. Obviously, I don't know for sure.
What? I just bounced on the fucking turret. Are you kidding me?
And so I do. Am I being strafed or shot at by something? Oh, Sad behind me. There's one guy somehow behind me.
Okay, we killed an KV2 called Mission Zero. I don't know if that's the one that killed you.
Probably.
I hope there are not like 4 KV2s on this side here by now.
Anything right tends to have press staunchly. Well, yeah, the press is staunchly against it. And I'm not saying that they should moderate their tones. I mean, I think they should tell the truth and not be hysterical. But I'm talking about these apparent threats to ban the party. The idea that, oh my God, this is so terrible, we have to ban them from even, holding office. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm talking about, is this panic. It's not like, oh my God, we hate these people and their values. Okay, if you hate the people and their values, you hate the people and their values. You campaign against them. I get that. But...
Oh shit, there's a... Oh, he will kill me. Ah, no. Come on. Oh, shit. Okay, he got me.
Oh, well, he got me again. This guy knows where to go and hide on this map.
Huh? Why is
another...
Josh telling me I should join him? Huh?
Right, because he wants to place 8-0 or something like that.
Yeah, 8-0, yeah.
Oh, somebody got those guys. Okay,
What?
good. He didn't want to join us. I mean, he chatted with us for a while, but he didn't want to join our
Okay.
play. And he's playing Americans.
And he's playing 7-7. Oh no.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. Okay, 7-7 instead of 8-0 or something. I knew it was something like that.
Yeah.
I just forget exactly which.
Alright, I see enemy plane heading your way, already
Yeah.
smoking.
I somehow missed him.
Yeah,
Got all
Yeah,
around
yeah,
him,
yeah.
but I missed him.
I will get him. Oh, come on, don't die! Oh, for
He
fuck's
died.
sake. He committed seppuku.
Okay, there's a couple airplanes coming in towards you from their spawn out there.
Okay, I will duck and cover here.
There are two. There's 3 now. 2 are high, 1's maybe medium. Don't know if any has spotted you yet, but 2 are very high. One looks like he's coming for me.
Now I can see the enemy planes.
I got
Good,
bombed.
good.
I was being machine gunned by somebody else.
B-18B, that's the big one.
Yeah.
Ah, 2 engines, I can see him, yeah.
And so to continue our long conversation here, I'm not as old as 1745 or even 1688, but I feel like looking at this history,
Oh, shit.
I'm on a very long losing side here,
Oof.
and
Alright, let's get this point back to us. Are we maybe a little bit up-tiered gamer?
I didn't pay attention. Maybe.
I'm asking for a friend.
Yes, I don't know. I'm dead, so yeah.
Okay, when I'm dead again, then I will let's skip to.
Right. So, yeah. I've in the past, long past, often thought, what if the world went the right direction? Would it
So the
have...
problem for the big parties is that they don't have the answers for the question of the common people, and therefore the only solution is ban every other party that isn't in line with their party doctrine. Like, just tell them to vote for us. We will do it better, and that's not like a party program.
Can they not see that they're failing to address the issues of the people?
Oh, they can. That's why they stated, like last week or like after the election in Saxony, then they said, maybe we should listen to the people again. And I thought, yeah, that's yeah,
Yeah, that's the idea, you know?
Because
the best.
I get that they have a world view. I get that. But whether it's they have this view that we're all replaceable cogs, and at least in my presumption with the idea that we're replaceable cogs is that, yes, we need to be trained, taught to read and write, taught to speak. It's not just you can take any cog from anywhere on the planet and replace it with any other cog. No, it has to be a trained, an educated cog that goes in the wheel. So importing a bunch of people from a very different environment and in large scale, that isn't automatically going to replace the missing cogs, the lack of, population. You want to fill the jobs. If you import a bunch of people who don't know how to drive cars, they're not going to become truck drivers. Okay, it's just or Uber drivers or taxi drivers or whatever. You gotta train them up. And so, even if you believe that we're just in charge of this landmass called Germany, and it's just made up of people who happen to live here, which they sort of kind of believe that when you're talking about the EU, you know, a bunch of Portuguese can show up or Swedes can show up and it doesn't really matter to them. And if they're not that different, that sort of kind of works. And so I get if they ideologically believe that we're all just cogs, okay, but that is one issue, that you gotta have the right type of, you know, trained cog. And two, I think this is a case for Germany. I know it's the case for Britain. There's not enough housing for these people. So even if you need the people to populate your country, if you will, you don't need them all at once. Because, again, you don't have the housing, you don't have the, you know, medical services, you don't have all of that infrastructure set up for them. So even if you have this ideology, you know, that you're ideologically bound to see things in a certain way and whatnot, I would think that well before now, they would have realized that there were issues with the volume and type of people flooding into Germany, but it hasn't been an issue. Whether I don't know whether they couldn't see it, or they just weren't willing to admit that it was a real issue, not just like, oh, well, of course.
I think it's an issue of not admitting.
Okay, so you, because obviously there's similar things going on in the Netherlands as in Germany, and so
the leader of the Christian Democrats, like for 2 weeks now, started to take more positions like the AfD would take in terms of immigration laws.
Right.
He's doing that right now because he sees that after Thuringia and Saxonia was not the biggest success even for the Christian Democrats, and also now in my home state of Brandenburg, the Christian Democrats can't really make a profit out of the other parties that they are being too shitty, like the FDP and the SPD and the Green Party. They are shit right now. But the Christian Democrats can't take anything from that.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
And so, yeah. Because, yes, I have my ideologies. I've definitely still bought into a lot of what I believed in the past. But I've also, if you will, changed some of my views, and I use a very real example of Germany and its subsidizing of its steel industry, that ideologically the Americans believe, well, hey, we'll just, oh shit, you keep backing up. Don't do that while I'm getting ready to shoot you. It was always like, well, don't do protectionism because you'll just protect inefficient industries. And that's true. But if everybody else, and I use the steel industry just because it's easy to talk about. But if they're always subsidizing the steel industry and continuing to do so, and it was thought that they would have to stop at some point. But if you're subsidizing the steel industry, well, no matter what you do, you'll never be able to compete against it, because even if you match their efficiency, and even if there is a technical way to beat their efficiency, well, are you going to have the money? Is a bank going to loan you the money to, if they come up with a new, oh, we can build steel now twice as good for half as much money or something, twice as effectively, not necessarily twice.
Oh, come on, M24 got me, gamer.
But twice the, twice the efficiency. Well, the banks will just go, yeah, you build this factory, Germany will just subsidize their steel industry more. So if that loan will collapse. So you're not a good investment. So
we're just throwing money at it until it's gone.
Yes, and so I've changed my tune on free trade. I'm still for it so long as two conditions apply. One, the nations that you're trading with are trading on a level playing field in the sense of government subsidies and similar sorts of things. And two, their economy is such that it isn't hugely artificially cheaper in that economy. Meaning, if we're talking about Germany, okay, we're roughly, cost of living is very similar, you know, so we're on sort of an economic level playing field. We're not talking about Bangladesh, where people will work for, you know, $1 a day or some ridiculously low level of money. So, you know, based on exchange rates and whatnot. So yeah, so what I would do is, yeah,
Oh, shit.
you know, okay,
Encourage
Germany.
it.
Well, no, Germany. Okay, you subsidize your steel industry by 20%. Well, we're going to put a 20%.
Import tax on it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
on it. Just whatever it is. If they go to 50%, they go to 80%. Whatever it is, we just put import tax equals subsidy, and then go, okay, fine. And that way, if we will produce a certain amount of our steel, and then I'm happy to, you know, if we need extra steel, you know, we'll import some from Germany, but we'll still have a steel industry. And that's how I would deal with this, compared to the doctrinal free trade is going to win out in the end. And so, but because I agree with the guys that protecting an inefficient, out-of-date industry is ultimately counterproductive in the long run. That too is, they're correct about that as well.
Mhm.
And so, and there's, you know, this is like at one point, and I think it may still be the case, they were no longer making TVs, whether it was the old CRTs or the modern. Oh man, everybody hated you.
Are
Everybody
you
hated
kidding me?
There were 2 aircraft coming in at you.
Oh. I tried to take one out with my big German bomb. Let's see.
And so, you know, just on a national security basis, we need TV/monitors or whatever to be made in America. We have to have some, because whether it's a nation decides to, for political reasons, to, you know, not sell TVs to America, you know, because they don't like what we do, or whether we're actually at war with with nations, or just simply.
Oh, Jan, listen here. This is my argument why we should create the chip factory by a European company and not by the Chinese company. You see?
Yes, and you should.
I never disagreed on you on that.
You said why should they? If the Chinese company guy comes and we pay for it.
Yeah, well, the problem is, no, that argument was about why should a
Dropping on A. Drop.
you know, so, sorry, I'm blanking out here.
I think the EU should pass a law that says something like, "Hey, Fritz," it says something like, you know, get a class of chips to get a definition. So it says something like, in 10 years, 20% of chips must be that are sold in the EU must be made in the EU.
Yeah.
And then after 30 years or something, you know, after another set of time, you give them time to build the factories, and that they know that then, you know, 40% of chips sold in the EU of certain kinds and classes need to be made there. And so that you will have not 100%, because that is also ultimately counterproductive, but that the idea that you have your own independent chip manufacturing of each, you know, at least of the major classes and whatnot, but then you still may be importing some because it may be efficient in the sense of cost-benefit analysis to import some. but you do have an ability, just in case international shipping breaks down, that you will still have access to chips or steel or whatever the product is. Now,
I have a solution.
Sure.
Get China and the EU.
Yeah, I think that was China's plan, but they were going to own the EU. As opposed to...
Yeah, maybe.
They were going to
I mean,
own
they
you instead of-
basically own everything already.
Yes. Okay, let's see what ZZ's saying here. Something I've been thinking about, Gamer, you mentioned earlier. You said that the Reformed Protestant tradition spurred progressive thought. I find that really interesting because I know today many Baptists of the Reformed tradition are pretty conservative. Okay. But conservative what? The technical
Wait.
Wait,
Wait, are you playing the game, guys?
Yes,
Or just...
yes. We're playing War Thunder. Yeah.
You have a slot?
Yes.
And what tier are you?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck you!
3-7. 3-7. Germany.
3-7.
Conservative technically means that they are going to conserve the current status quo. Okay? So a proper conservative will look around right now, whether this is in Germany or in America or wherever, it goes, hey, this is great. We want to keep it just the way it is today. We don't want to make any changes because we want to conserve the current. And that is way a lot of them, once they're in office, a lot of the Republicans at least, and I think a lot of the CSU, CDU types, behave. The current status quo is fine. As opposed to reactionary is someone who wants to go back to a previous status quo, go back to a previous conditions. So if you're talking about a modern conservative, technically there's somebody, hey, yeah, current policies are good. We don't want to change current policies. Now that is not what they talk about and not the actual real practical idea. But, and so, hey, Johnny Dench, it's been a long time. Yes, good to have you back here.
I'm ready for invite.
Yeah. Yes. Next mission, we'll get you in. We're getting our butts kicked. We're almost all out here. And so a lot of, okay, I would say about 95% of American conservatives like the American Constitution. That's a big bump. And the American Constitution is a left-wing document. Okay, so we are already all hanging out on the left wing here in America. Now Europe is further out on the left wing mostly, but we're hanging out here on the left wing. So you're right. A lot of the American conservatives, they believe in the American Constitution, and they so they think they're conservatives, yes, in the sense of current American politics, but they're as left as all hell. I mean, I bet you were to go and get honest answers from 1,000 Baptists, and none of them will defend the divine right of kings to rule because they've been anointed by God. Well, I'm doing very well, Johnny. I'm in California right now, but I am slowly, as in it's going to take me a few more months.
But surely.
Yeah, I'm moving to Arizona, and so life has been a bit upset and chaotic, but I am doing well. And so, yeah, and so if you're understanding when I'm talking about the world's been going shit to shit since 1688, you would understand that better. No, I'm still working on it. My secret mountain base has about half of the floor put in and about half of the rooms painted. I want to get the rooms painted before I have the floor put in, and before I move into the actual secret mountain base. I sort of have more than one secret mountain base.
You need at least 3 decoys.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, and you need tunnels and connect them with these Chinese fast trains, you know.
Yeah, well, I do have two bases right next to each other that I could put a tunnel, but I'm not.
One should be in Waco.
No.
Just for the LOLs gamer. Come on.
Yeah, I know. No, it's...
And hang the walls with good old German flags. That's always amazing.
Yeah, no, we're not doing German flags.
And some leather
Aw.
couches and so on.
Well, actually, I have 2 very nice green leather couches. Yes.
Like a good men's room with some whiskey and some.
Well, the whole
coffee.
place,
Cigarettes.
the whole place is going to be my style, since I don't have a wife or anybody else to mess it up.
A huge man cave, I see.
Oh yes.
Yes, sounds like paradise.
Yes.
Need to invite,
Brett,
you need to invite a German viewer.
yes. If you want to come visit, you can once I'm sort of set up. You can, most assuredly. It wouldn't have the family aspect that you have,
There's a KV-1 down here.
but oh, there is. Shoot it.
He just drove into a.
I'm shooting at a British thing across the way. Yeah. Oh, Crusader. Down.
I
So-
see something here.
Oh,
Tank
fuck.
destroyer.
Okay. I got revenge. Unfortunately, it was
Thanks,
revenge
did
and
not see that coming.
I didn't see him until he shot. I didn't save you, but revenge at least. So is Space Marine good? The game, Fritz?
It is. I like it.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
I mean, PvP is a little bit of kind of, I don't know, unbalanced, I would say, but it's a new game, right?
Right. Okay.
I don't know. Did you play Eternal Crusade?
No, I did not.
But you know what I'm talking. It was like Chapter Master Valrek. You know him?
I think.
He's a big 40k YouTuber, and
Right,
he played
yeah.
a lot of that PvP Space
Right.
Marine game, Eternal Crusade.
Right. Yeah.
It's kind of similar, the PvP.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
There's an Achilles moving up to where my dead body is.
Okay.
And
Where
he
are
will
the
see
dead
you,
bodies?
Fritz, in a second.
They're definitely having me play more
What the
Warhammer
fuck? From where?
40k games. Although not.
You shot me.
Hey, folk, how you doing? Not Space Marine 2, obviously, but Slytherin is having me play Battle Sector and Gladius. I think to draw in people that are, you know, on the War Thunder or not War Thunder, Warhammer hype train.
Yeah, I've
Well,
always been-
wouldn't Amazon not fucked it up with Henry Cavill? Maybe we would have like a Warhammer series by end of this year, but no.
Definitely not the end of
Yeah.
this year. There's
fucking
still a
Marxist.
Yeah, there's still I think a possibility that it gets made, but it does seem that Cavill will not give in on.
He's
Yeah,
out.
I mean,
He's
have you
out.
seen this new
Is he
animation?
he actually out? I haven't heard that. I've heard that it's December that it's going to be decided, but I don't know.
They wanted to change so much stuff. I mean, Game Shop already said yes, but I think that is crap. They only want to have the money. And Cavill is at least someone who cares about the integrity of the lore.
Right? Yes, I would agree.
Yeah, but Amazon doesn't care. No, Amazon wants to have like Warhammer plus force diversity, and that's a no-no for
Yeah,
Cavill. Done.
Well, I understand that, but has he actually stated? Because I just watched a video yesterday that was like a day or two old. That was clear that Cavill was still fighting for it. He hadn't declared that he's out yet. So, have you heard something that he's actually he himself has said that he's out?
I
Not
think Games
definitely.
Workshop itself has capitulated because have you seen this new animation? This the Tithes it's called.
No, I have not seen that, but I'm only partially plugged into Warhammer, but
They have female custodies and
right. I know he's fight. Well, from what this video that I watched that was fairly new, that I mean just a few days old that I watched yesterday, still was talking that that Cavill was fighting against it, against the female custodies and against having these DEI requirements at least on screen for the 40K thing, and they were using a lot of his quotes in this video. I forget who made the video. So I suspect that there is a possibility that literally up at the Jeff Bezos level of things, that he may realize that they really want to make money on something, and not, as Elizabeth's saying, do the Rings of Power way to success.
You just put success and Rings of Power in the same sentence, gamer.
Well, and yes, as a not
already
as a
shackle.
Some freaks still like that, you know.
Well, yeah, but yeah, they're few and far between.
If you don't care too much about the lore, I mean, then the series is fine-ish. But if you go too deep into lore, then nah.
Well, yeah, and so I'm just it was probably about 10 years ago I read or listened to one or two audiobooks of Space Marines, and I remember it was just focused down on like a platoon on a planet, so it wasn't giving me big sweeps of the lore. And actually it was Toyjet who's educated me a bit about some of the lore. I really liked playing Battle Sector because there was a plot line to it that was, I thought, really entertaining.
Coming Niagara, repairing.
He's down to the small lake.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's ein Four-Wheeler. Ist nur ein Vierrad-Geschiss hier.
I'm gonna come back in as a.
He's da hinten. Da kommt
Ja.
Aircraft.
He's right here.
A lot of enemy. Yep.
Ich repariere.
I think, as one of the commentators said, they fear Cavill because Cavill will make it a success. If he's allowed to do what he wants to, he'll make it a success and show all these other, not just Warhammer, but all these other franchises that are failing right and left, that they could have been successful. It isn't Fatigue. It isn't some other,
There's a Crusader or Matilda just next to me after the. Oh, you don't do the roof. Okay, no problem.
I'm right behind you. I've just killed the car.
Yeah.
And to have a big success shows what level of failure they are, and so I think there's a big fear of him. Elizabeth saying Ubisoft hit stock prices of 2,000 investors. Yeah. And this one guy who made the video said that
fuck
right about at the time, I forget they had the specific time.
2 tanks, Fritz, watch it.
The chief financial officer of the company, or Games Workshop, sold most of their shares because right at about the time, I don't remember, it was like a day or two before, a day or two after they announced the female custodies. And I don't know whether it's male or female, the chief financial officer of Games Workshop sold most of their shares because they knew.
I would consider this fraud because you should be able to do this level of shittiness towards your franchise. They have insider knowledge and they know what happened to the value when they announced this shit.
Right. Yes, and so this person was smart enough and sold out. a lot of their shares. Maybe not all of, but supposedly a big chunk, according to this person. I mean, they actually like knew the date and whatnot. It wasn't like me just sort of trying to remember or guessing. But yeah, and it was the CFO. Now I don't know if this CEO or chief operating officer or whatever, what those people did. And sometimes those people have very little shares in the company. They're just hired people. Sometimes they have a lot of shares in the company. It can vary, but yeah. So it would
Oh,
fucking
it's so
tree,
stuck.
it would show. So if you had a new big franchise, it would show that all these Marvel, Star Wars, every other sort of franchise could have been a huge money-making success, and that'll be a big controversy. But I think the other thing that may be helping is this Space Marine 2. Seeing that my guess is not woke, and is
Well,
very,
it's
very
still
popular.
it's still normally every woke asshole should consider it a good thing. That game, there's an Asian space marine, there's a Negro space marine in his squad, and they all work together very fine. There are female Imperial Guard units that lead
I want
us.
to. I want to make something. Here. Gamer, how long will you stream?
Not much longer. Maybe a mission
Okay,
or two.
I don't really want to make and open up another can of worms. Not recently, but over the last 3 to 4 months, maybe, because I watch a lot of the Neurotic and Critical
Right.
Drinker, and
I know them, but I don't watch a
tend
lot, but
to
I do
get
know
a
them.
problem if they're all bashing like everyone who says woke, right? Here's the thing. The question is, what's the definition of a woke person? Because I consider myself a woke person, because I would say a woke person is someone who knows that there is an inherent problem in the system. I know that
No,
also
a woke person is a communist.
yeah, and someone who is all into forced diversity.
Yeah,
But
okay, when they're using the term, you're not woke, because you're not a communist, Niagro. From talking to you as long as I have, you're not a communist.
I know.
And so you're not woke. Look.
Yeah, but this description of what woke means, this is from the 80s.
But that's what they want people to think what it means. That's what as I was saying earlier, the left hides what they really believe, and they talk about it in general platitudes. Because if you're making a World War II American military movie, the soldiers should be all white unless there's like a specific black unit there. And they're mostly like transport troops, and there was like a tank battalion. But it's either going to be all white or it's going to be black, or like the one Japanese Nisei unit, what is it, the 550th or whatever. Unless it's like one of these real special units, otherwise they're all white. Now, if you're making a movie set in the 80s that it's an American unit, they can be organically all the basic races that are commonly found in America, because we have an integrated armed forces, both Marines and the Army. So if you're making a movie, if it's organically multiracial, well then great, because that's the way the Army is at Vietnam, post-Vietnam, whatever. But if you're making a movie in World War II, you should not have like black soldiers or Asian soldiers. Maybe a few Hispanic, but not because they were.
World War II is not a good example. You should take like Robin Hood or something.
Yeah. Oh. Okay. Now, yes. If you go to like Robin Hood, it should be all Europeans. Or if you're doing The Witcher, which was set in Europe, you know, whether it was specifically Poland, but just sort of Central European mythos, they should be all white people and all pretty light-skinned white people, because that's what populated the game, the book, the whole thing that it was designed around. And so that's what it should be.
So you're telling me that all the news articles that describe Vogue as like vigilante against injustice and discrimination, this is not true in the end?
Yeah, that's because if you look at you see that's sort of the mythos that the left uses. They will, you know, they will describe things in soft platitudes. Like, doesn't everybody want justice for everyone? Yes. Oh, well then you're for social justice. Wait a minute. No, I'm for you know the ideal, you know, what is best. I'm for equal justice, meaning everybody gets the, you know, have their day in court. Everybody's treated equally by the law enforcement system, whether you're rich or poor, black or white. Where social justice is the opposite of it. They believe on treating people based upon their skin color, or their race, or their class, or their sexual orientation. And so if they're not enough, you know, so give benefits to one group of people, which means taking away from another group of people, whether you just, you know, if you're, you know, taking tax money from maybe everybody, but giving it to a special group based upon a category, a class of some sort. And so
don't take the qualified white guy. Take the black guy because the quotes.
Right. Well, I mean, there's that, but there's also like, you know, here in California, the governor, not just some, you know, nut job, you know, person who gets elected, but the actual mainstream is very much considering the idea of reparations, of giving black people money to give reparations for being slaves, you know, 100+ years ago that nobody's alive. So they're going to take money, including money from black people, because there's successful black people that pay taxes.
Well, it was black people that sold black people into slavery.
Well,
right?
of course, but those aren't the Americans. Those are the Africans that stayed there. But yeah, and so you're absolutely right, Fritz. But it's the idea of giving them money based upon their skin tone, not reparations by, oh hey, they've been mugged. So, well, since the mugger was poor and he can't give you your money back, the government will give you, you know, your money back, and the society is just sort of, you know, being a big insurance thing or something. Well, that would be based upon a fact that you've been mugged, whatever your race is, but it's by the fact that something bad happened to you. I'm not saying that that's what should happen. I'm just saying the idea of giving reparations based upon an event, that would be equal justice.
Why can't this fucker hit me on the angle of my fucking armor and just penetrate me with the first shot?
And so social justice is class justice, not equal justice. So they'll make it sound like it's something good. Aren't you for justice? And then they'll talk about, well, this people have been discriminated against, so we have to remedy that somehow based upon. I mean,
we could all just go around this and identify as black women, right?
Yeah, and then every CEO on the planet is a black woman, and every person is a black woman. Yeah, that's how it all falls.
Then no
apart,
one has
Fritz.
to pay, right?
Right. Well, no, we all get the same checks. You know.
Okay.
Yeah. So the taxpayers still have to pay, but everyone gets $1,000 or $10 million or whatever the amount of money is, but we all get it. And so, yeah, and so, you know, and obviously there is no true equal justice because, yeah, rich people, they can pay for better lawyers, you know, and there's always things that things won't ever be equal, but the ideal is good of, you know, being treated equally by the you know, law enforcement people. But, you know, in practice it's not, and I don't believe in equality, that we should all be, you know, treated equally generally because some of us have better talents than others. That's different than law, being whether, treated different in the courtroom. Just because you're handsome doesn't mean you should get better treatment in a courtroom, but maybe if you're handsome, you'll get better treatment by the women. They shouldn't, it shouldn't be that women have to date an ugly guy or a guy has to date a fat chick or whatever,
Or trans chicks. Yes.
Yeah, or trans. I mean, that's where, of course, the complete silliness comes into the argument. But
Yeah.
but still, so I don't believe in that just equality as equality is a good value. I think it's a negative value. But like I say, special case for treating by judges and police officers and whatnot based upon your behavior and your actions and all of that stuff, not your skin color or your gender. So yeah, and so this is where the left uses language like woke. Are you awake to the injustices in society?
Yeah,
And
it's not only that word.
you may go,
It's
yeah,
even-
I see injustices, but that doesn't then mean follows that their solutions are the ones that should be done.
Yeah. They own a lot of language.
Yes.
They call everyone that's not that hasn't their opinion. They call everyone Nazi and something. It's just
Racist and bigot.
ridiculous. Yeah.
Right. They do that. That's for sure. But also,
Misogynist and so on.
but as Fritz says, they own
What?
language. They define and redefine language for everybody else.
We have the point. How can we fail the mission?
Well, on win-loss ratio, it can happen, but
Russian bias. Fucking
Yeah,
hell.
we turned it around pretty good in the end.
yes. One more mission, then I'm gonna take a break.
Yep.
Hey,
Ah, yes,
Fritz.
okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry.
And so, yeah, it's
I've been thinking about kind of the genetic arguments and maybe it's a bad time to talk about it while still live. I don't know.
well, maybe not go too deep into it. If you want to go deep in, we can talk about it some other time, Jan.
Yeah, then I'm gonna hold that thought down. then.
Yeah, please. And if you need to write something down and talk to me later, because I'm actually going to get off here and go get food.
Yeah.
And not
Yeah,
immediately
I
talk
will.
about
I will
things.
message you later. Then.
Yeah.
Gamer,
Yeah.
if you are longer available for today, what do you think about continue our Rebel Empire 2 multiplayer game, the co-op game, so that I can work on the.
I can.
achievements?
Yes, that would be fine. I would be happy to, but like I say, I want to go get lunch first.
Oh yeah, no problem.
So just hang out, and I'll be back after.
Probably be back.
Yeah.
And yes, in Space Marine 2, you can also play the campaign with two friends together, like
Yeah,
co-op.
I've heard about
co-op
that.
mission. That's
Yeah.
very good.
Ooh,
What's
tempting.
for lunch? I'm not sure.
Yeah, you can do basically Space Marine RP there, you know?
Right, yeah.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, thank you, brother. Brother, I'm pinned here.
Brother, I am pinned here. Oh, we might get
Brother.
brother. Oh God, it's just gonna be a Hulk Hogan quote.
I think Space Marine and its success, especially after that Concorde failure, $400 freaking million. I hear that costs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Have you looked at the credits? They're 1 hour and 30 minutes long.
Oh God, you mean for Concorde?
Yeah, for Concorde. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
1 hour and 30 fucking minutes. Hold on, I'm just gonna.
This is even better than what was it, Metal Gear Solid 4, where you also have I think 40 or 50 minutes of
Man,
playable
there's a lot of
credits.
guys coming here.
Yeah.
A lot of guys.
Oh shit! You're having a lot of fun over there. I see.
I got 2 of them. There's a few
I'm
more.
dead.
Oh,
Yes.
watch it!
6 or something.
On the flank, out here is another one. A fast boy.
Oh, I was wrong. It's 1 hour
Fuck.
and 12 minutes and 30 seconds. Hold on, I'm
He
just
hit
gonna
my
look at it.
track and the fucking shell goes right through into... What is this game? Oh man, I hate this so much.
I linked it in general chat. It's 1
Ah, you
hour and
found the
12
Breda
minutes.
game. Gamer.
It's not emasculate and gay. Yes, and so yeah, it's. I think that's going to change the landscape because
Yeah, Concord.
they-
It was like the turning point. I think. I
they.
feel like.
Now, I'm not saying there's not going to be some more woke shit coming out, just because a lot of this stuff, takes years to make. But I think.
Yeah, but how could you, as if you would be like in the board of members, how could you argue to make like a hero shooter, which is just a thing of okay, this will be fine for like 2 years, but the fucking development phase is 5 years or longer, and you put money into this. How can you argue that this will be a success in the end? This is not possible.
Yeah, for
Well-
Niagara, there's a guy coming towards you.
Uh-oh.
If
on
it
the
took
road?
7 years to make, then it's in 2018. And if you
I tried
look
to
back
warn you.
on 2018, it could have been possible.
Well, yeah, but his point is your return on your money, how much your investment, how much you can possibly make, because
It's probably of the bubbles.
now,
I think.
there's definitely,
Where did you go?
I died.
Oh fuck!
I
Someone
mean,
shot
yeah,
at you,
well-
gamer. Right? The 1 second
Yeah,
ago.
yeah, up there.
Ah,
It's a
there he is.
Breda. It's been hit. His driver's out, but he killed me.
I hit his front and he didn't. He kills me with
There-
the first. Are you fucking kidding me?
There's also a M24 up in that same position.
Fucking
How can I hit him in the front and it doesn't pierce through his fucking small vehicle?
Oh no, it may have gone all the way through.
Oh man.
What is this shit vehicle?
There's the Bredas.
M22?
Oh yeah,
Beretta. It's not the Beretta, it's the Beretta.
No,
No, the M22 is on our flank and will kill
Yeah.
everything who is advancing on Bravo. And
yeah.
the fucking Breeder is
yeah.
killing everyone in our spawn point because it's
Yeah.
just a big gun without any
Yeah.
armor. Yeah, fuck it. He can shoot everything with one shot.
Yeah.
I'm so done. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm out. I'm
Yeah,
out.
well, we're ending anyways, but yes.
Where's this guy? Where's the breeder?
He's next to the small building on the ridge. On the edge.
right on the edge of the ridge.
Oh yeah,
Um,
in Rainbow Six Siege, there's a person with
that's-
fucking wheelchair.
That's
How?
that's ridiculous. And okay, see
How would she be
here-
able
here-
to
here's how
perform?
here,
See you later,
here's-
guys.
Okay, see ya.
Goodbye.
Here's how it got sold, I'm sure. I mean, I wasn't in the meetings, but all this stuff, when you say inclusive, and it's sort of like Niagara was talking about, well, he sort of considers himself woke by their quote-unquote descriptions of the term, is the inclusive. Well, we're going to be inclusive. We're going to include everybody. And if you're looking at sales numbers, what do you want to do? Include everybody because you want to sell everybody your game. But they don't realize that their inclusiveness really is not additive. It's not that you're going. We have,
It's not.
We don't
it's
have
not a
100,000
2 plus 2 plus
players.
2.
If we just add black people and women, we're going to have the 100,000 players plus another 100,000 players because they're black people and women are going to show up. It's not. It's not a add somebody new. You're going to add to the expand the game. You're going to contract the game because you're taking away from naturally you're taking away from a medieval based knights game, and now you're making it seem ridiculous to the players because you're making there's black knights now. Not that they hate black people, it just doesn't meet their vision of what a knight is in the Middle Ages. So you turn off more people than you turn on, but they don't sell it that way to the money people, to the board of directors like Niagara was talking about. And so
It's like a PT 76 in a game against a tiger.
right. You know, sure,
Yeah.
it pisses off more people than it helps. You know, that like
it is also a what's how would I say it? I just had a good analogy, but I immediately forgot it. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. So this is how the woke, the language that they use, you know, stop the hate, and then they will hate on all kinds of things. Where I think hate is good, not in the Star Wars sense. Let your hate grow you stronger. No, it's you have value judgments and you hate some things. You know, like I hate communism.
It's natural.
Yeah. And so it's you know when you put out these like let's stop the hate, and then of course you see these people chanting hate slogans, but you just go, no, that's just silly. Yeah, now you could say stop hating people based on your race or whatever, but you get to hate them on how they behave. Excuse me, on how they behave or whatever. So, so it's just a lot of silliness. And it just turns people away.
It's not even that they that they outlaw the hate. They just force you to love. That's the thing.
Right. But and so, if they were to make something a game based on the Zulus and their wars, and you're playing as a Zulu warrior, I think loads of white people would play that because
there is actually a game.
Well, and if it's done well, I think loads of people would, an African-based good game, whether you're fighting against the English down in South Africa or you're just fighting against other black tribes or something. I think, if it's done well, I think there would be a bunch of white people playing it because it doesn't break the idea, the immersion. It's just like how many people will play an Asian-based game? Huge numbers. It's because, white people, because if it's a good game, it's a good game. But you stick an Asian knight in a medieval game, what? Why? They'll be upset at that, but they're not upset just because there's Asians in the game that they like. And so this is, the idea, and they sold it on additive. Let's make it. Let's especially the thought that, well, if we add some women and we make it more palatable to women, we'll get more viewers. Well, you just turn off the male viewers and you only add in a few women, so you actually reduce it. Okay, well, I want to thank everybody. Thanks Fritz, thanks Jan, thanks Niagara, thanks Elizabeth, thanks ZZ. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I'm going to go get lunch. Thanks, folk. I'm not sure what I'm having yet. I don't know if Johnny Dench is still around, but thanks. Got to go figure. I sort of want pizza, but I don't know if I'm going to wait to order that or not. But yeah, so I will be back next weekend with more Strategic Command and War Thunder. So I hope you join me.